That's the main reason why I said that. The main reason why I said that you turning life into a game right now at this point. A lot of y'all is. I'm gonna be honest with you. As I intentionally went through my shorts, intentionally scrolled through my shorts, and I saw enough. I saw enough because it we in a times where people are they keep playing. They playing with God now. See, now they taking it a step further, even further, and they're just playing with God at this point. I'm sick and tired of seeing y'all fake Christians on the internet constantly playing with God. I'm hearing something about Christian baddies or whatever. Like, what is wrong with y'all? What's wrong with y'all? That's my biggest question. Because I'm not too sure that you even have any brain cells left at this point. If you can sit there and play with God, you a very bold person. Or should I say, are you even a person? A lot of y'all not human. And then when a person like me sit there and say something like that, it's like not human. You think that's funny too? A bunch of childish adults is what I keep seeing. It's bad enough that the children are just lost. They love seeing that's what it is. It has got to the point where people are they indulging in sin to the highest extent. It's to the point where they love it and they will never stop. It's people, going into my husband's stream talking about how they'll never stop smoking weed. Okay, well, take you and your weed to the lake of fire then, because you are already spiritually dead. So you got one more death. That second death, you ain't gonna be here. I guess y'all think it's funny at this point to be in hell. Hell is funny too. Laugh your way down to hell then. Cause it seemed like nobody is and I'm not gonna say like nobody, but it seemed like pretty much the majority of the world is no longer even striving at all to gain a close relationship with God. In fact, they think it's actually funny. It's all fun and games. It's funny. It's funny to post your children all online, to show your kids off to these creepy pedos all over the internet. That's funny too. Y'all women sicken me for real. Yes, I am upset right now. I'm very upset with the way that this society is changing. It's so sickening. It's to the point where I don't want to be around none of y'all. I don't want to be around nobody. I don't even want to be outside around nobody. Like, I don't even want to open my door up for nobody. I don't give a doggone. I don't care who you is. I don't care if you coming to do some maintenance work. I don't even want to open the door because people are so spiritually dead that I don't even want that type of. I don't want it around me and my family. Y'all think it's so fun. And then if you ain't talking about God, you ain't talking about nothing. Especially if you don't even make sense when you talking about God. Because people swear up and down they got God in their life, but I'm telling you, they don't even make sense when they even talking about God because they play too much. I'm scrolling through my shorts and I'm seeing people in church. They in church, but they in church clowning. They not worshiping for real. They think that worshiping is clowning and showing out and acting a fool and running around and laughing. Even the pastors. Don't get me wrong, they've been doing this, but like I said, as time goes on, it seemed like everything enhances. Like, for instance, we were having these problems last year, but this year it seemed like it's getting worse. with the playing around. And then y'all done just got to the point where it's like, well, I'm sinning. It is what it is. I'm going to keep on sinning. I keep you in your sin over there. I don't want to be around it. I don't even want to see it. They think it's funny until it's time for us to be judged. I'm even seeing this comedian guy, right? And y'all probably know who I'm talking about. I forgot his name. I'm gonna be honest with you. But he's a comedian and he's using, I guess it's funny for him to pretend and act like, he met God in heaven and God is judging him and he turned it into a comedy and a comedy skit, and God kicked him out of heaven and said that, oh, go to hell. You know what I'm saying? I mean, go to the lake of fire because you did this wrong, that wrong, this wrong. And then he's doing the little facial expressions, and I'm just looking like the comedians is taking it a step further too. They think it's funny to use comedy skits and playing with God. What is wrong with y'all, man? Then I could just see him now coming in here like, how is that not funny? You gotta laugh sometimes. Yeah, but I'm not about to laugh at, playing with God. I'm not playing. I don't play with God. I don't play about God, man. He's literally judging us right now. I don't care what you doing. Get out of my life. Drop 50 in somebody else's life. You could kick him out too, because I'm not finna play with nobody either. I know y'all want to come in here. Y'all want to talk about all the wrong stuff. You want to talk about everything that I'm not talking about. And if you simply can't engage in a topic, then move around. I'm not finna play with you. Don't y'all get enough of playing? Go play with your kids or your nieces and nephews. Because a lot of y'all finna get blocked. I already see it. Y'all still think it's a game. Still. I definitely wanted to go live. Because I'm like, oh, wow, these people really think it's a game. They really think playing with God is funny. I remember when I used to go to church. And the whole church was a clown show. It made me get to the point where I felt like service just wasn't even serious at all. They played so much in church that I started to think that it was okay to play too. And then the minute that I thought that it was okay to play, you got the elders in church trying to come at me, telling me that we don't play in church. I can't tell. It looked like a clown show to me. All of y'all sitting up here talking about we don't play in church, but you running around screaming and hooping and hollering with tambourines, falling all out on the floor, jumping off the pool pit. I mean, how do you like? And then you got the audacity to tell kids that they can't play in church though, but you playing. And as a matter of fact, you playing with God. So right, they think it's funny until it's time for us to be judged. And then you got people holding. Don't get me started, because my husband got a story to tell, right? You got people holding fellowship. Uh, the men are holding a fellowship and stuff like that together, and they feel like they can. They really feel like they can compete with one another with the knowledge that they have in regards to the Bible scriptures, competing with one another when they're supposed to be teaching the scriptures. They got beginners that's coming in there that's willing to learn about the word, and instead of trying to teach them, they competing. So let me get this straight. We didn't reach the point where people are competing for their love for God. People are playing in church, playing on the internet, women talking about Christian baddies, wearing tight clothes, sexualizing the word, sexualizing church, sexualizing being a Christian, like sexualizing everything, sexualizing their own kids. But you sitting up here and you got the audacity to talk about the Epstein files, and y'all sitting up there going to the No Kings protest, and you talking about the politicians that's some pedos and creeps, but you don't care about exploiting your own child all across the internet though. Make it make sense. You said the moment I let my leadership man go off, they say blasphemy. I know. So, and this is another thing too. It seemed like the minute that you try to tell, so don't get me wrong, these fellas, you know what I'm saying? They know the scriptures all too well. But see, that's the problem. You know the scriptures all too well, and you gaslight the next person for not being knowledgeable enough about the scriptures, but yet and still you tell them that you're there to help them while trying to embarrass them and put them underneath the spotlight. And then when a person trying to tell them about themselves, they got too much pride to even understand. They too deep into themselves. You know what I'm saying? They too deep into themselves to even come up out of that, because it's like, who do you think you talking to? I am the chosen. I am the chosen. I know the scriptures. God chose me to do this. So you can't tell them nothing, because then they'll pull out the Bible and pull up one of them scriptures and use one of those scriptures against you. I don't know what they talking about. I'm gonna be honest with you. You said I'm not even. What are you talking about, dude? That's why sometimes I hate to read certain people comments, because they intentionally bring on confusion in a live stream or whatever it is that you're trying to say. I don't know what you're talking about. You should be a lot more specific. But y'all turning y'all own lives into a game. You wake up in the morning and you don't even appreciate being alive. Don't tell me you do, because a lot of y'all don't. You just worried about how you finna clock those hours in and go your behind to work and get paid. That's all y'all care about, bro. And then, yeah, the spirit of provoking, right? Right. Just like my husband was saying earlier, the spirit of provoking is so strong across the internet that the spirit of provoking is so strong that across the internet you got people so there was this one person, right? For instance, funny person to me. They're a funny person because I went live a few days ago and I was talking about something and they kept on like, you know, interrupting the chat with these long paragraphs. And I'm trying to talk about the topic in which I was talking about. It sounded like they was in agreement, but then again, it sounded like they wasn't in agreement. But I wasn't tripping. It was just a distraction, and I was trying to tell them like, "Hey, no disrespect, you know what I'm saying?" But I'm trying to really stay on topic, and it seemed like whatever you saying is catching me off, is getting me off topic. So I stopped reading their comments. So let's fast forward to like 2 days after that, or 3 days after that. They was so mad that I wasn't reading their comments that they started finding going through all my old videos, all my old shorts, and comment negative, the same negative stuff, talking about my husband was throwing up gang signs or whatever the case may be. This man don't even gang bang. Throwing up the peace sign is not throwing up a gang sign, by the way. So they kept commenting that in every video. Then they said you talk about one thing, then you say another or something like that. Then they said that they're gonna unsubscribe. Never asked you to subscribe in the first place. So that's y'all problem too. You know what I'm saying? Um Before subscribing, you should check out the person's channel first. You know what I'm saying? Before you hit the subscribe button, before you just swear that you just for sure that this is a person that you want to be subscribed to, you should go and check out their channel first and see how you feel about them. Then hit the subscribe button. But some of y'all just hear a few things that a person is saying in their live streams and you agree with it and then you subscribe. And then later on down the line, you figure out some way, somehow that you just don't like the person. But it's like people be so weird though. You know what I'm saying? And this internet, these people on the internet, they so controlling that they feel like, oh, you only got 3 or 4 people watching you. You should look at every comment that I write and you should read every comment that I post. Because it's people like you that's weird. You know what I'm saying? It's people like you that's weird. No, I feel like the word weird is I feel like the word weird is not used correctly because it's people like y'all that's very weird. You come in here and you pick and choose what you want to pick and choose out of the topic, and it's like, oh, she said weird. Let me say something about that. Meanwhile, you just now coming in here. I don't even know. Matter of fact, I don't even know how long you've been in here. You probably been listening to me the whole entire time. But like I said, you sitting in my stream though. But like I said, y'all turning life into a game. Y'all turning life into a game, and it's not. You choose to you choose to play games with your own life every single day and not even value your life. Thank you for getting them up out of here. Thank you. Because I promise you know what? I promise you, I'm not finna go back and forth with y'all. If you want to be weird in someone else's stream. Don't come in here picking and choosing the words out of what I'm talking about and then trying to use me. Something is seriously wrong with y'all people. I'm telling you, man, people really don't be trying to listen. They don't even try to listen. They listen and then they do judge. But they say only God can judge. He is. He's judging us right now. He judging me right now as I speak. We listen and we don't judge. Y'all remember that? You remember that trend? But the minute you start speaking for real, you got people that are coming your stream and they pick a sentence out of everything that you've been saying for the last 24, 25 minutes. They pick one word or they pick and choose a sentence out of that 24, 25-minute mark. And they say, I think that you using the word weird incorrectly. Like, you don't even care about what I'm talking about. Oh, my bad, because what I'm talking about is how y'all keep playing with y'all own lives. And see, people still take that as a joke. They still don't want to hear it. It's like it's to the point where, you know, they just deafen the ears at this point. They don't want to hear it. They want to continue to play with God. They don't want nobody to speak out about the things that they're doing. They don't want anybody to correct them, you know. If they want people to be in agreement. They want people like me to be in agreement with what I see across the internet. I guess I should just be like, oh, wow, she's exploiting her child for money, for fame. Let me shut up. Let me be quiet. I shouldn't have anything to say. They want me to be like, oh, Christian baddies, girl, you know you right. You a Christian and you bad. Okay, you go, girl. Cause what y'all females be saying is tea. What y'all females be doing, that little weird finger clapping stuff. Y'all women is just, and it seemed like all the women across the board, I mean, it don't matter what culture they all doing this. And I don't get it. And then they doing a little childish, like what? I'm gonna be honest with you. These the women that live amongst us right now in today's time is clearly harlots and Jezebels. Harlots and Jezebels. Clearly. That's all I see. All on YouTube. Even so-called Christian women. It's giving. What is it giving? It's so girl, cause girl, it's tea. Like, what are y'all saying? Could you really just spill out a full sentence and stop just saying one word, two words, and then that's just a sentence enough for you? But y'all swear up and down, y'all got y'all bachelor's degree, you know, masters. You thriving, but you can't even speak in a full sentence. And y'all men really like that. You really like that. Why don't you go and find you a real woman? Because these women, mm-mm, these women are not real women. They have the spirit of Jezebel, and they're a bunch of, I'm just calling it how I see it, harlots. They don't. No respect. No respect. Hold on, y'all. I don't want y'all to see me. I just had to maneuver myself around. You see, I don't think real women exist. I hope to find one by the time I hit 30. Otherwise, I'm going on demon time. I don't know what you I don't know what you're trying to say, you know? But I hope that you get right with God before you seek a real woman. Because in order to seek a real woman, um, you definitely should, you know what I'm saying, develop a close relationship with God. Seek God, pray about it, because don't just go out here looking for a woman. Because I'm telling you, these women nowadays, man, are not real women. They all, majority of them, I'm not going to say all, because there is some good women out here. Um, but y'all, like, for real, just try to pursue a marriage. Like, seriously. Get married. Get married. Because these women, or should I say Jezebels, I mean, seriously, it seemed like every short that I scroll through, it's like they're saying stuff like, it's giving, it's giving, it's tea. And I just don't understand. It's not clicking right in my mind because I don't talk like that. You know what I'm saying? When I talk, I use full sentences and I don't say it's giving. And cause girl, that is tea. And I don't clap my fingers, the tip of my fingers together when I think that something looks so good or it tastes so good. And I'm just like, cause what is that? What are you trying to say? Could you open up your mouth and say what you're trying to say? Could you use your words? But if your child screaming and hollering because it's something that your child wants and they can't express themselves, you know, about what it is that they want, you get upset. And you tell them to use their words, but you ain't even using yours. And apparently, you know, you got some common sense, but you can't even use it. Cause your brain cells is fried. That's why. All that all those doggone uh all that makeup y'all putting on y'all face. I'm just being 100. All the makeup that you putting in your face, all the chemicals you putting inside of your doggone scalp. Man, I guess it's just not giving. You know what I'm saying? It's just not giving. It's giving. Wow. then I just don't understand how you men like women like that. How could you even be in a relationship? Could you please answer me this, men? How could you even be in a relationship and be married to a, I guess, woman, that talks like that? And then they got their little daughters talking like that too. The little girls, I saw this one little girl. She looked like I would give her maybe 7 or 8. She looks like she's about 7 or 8, and she's talking like that already, you know, on the internet. And she like, okay, it's given. And I'm like, and then her mom is standing right there next to her, and she, yes, honey, yes. Nah, nah. Well, I'm just gonna encourage you to pray about it, because I can only imagine how difficult it is for a man, a good man, in today's society that we live in, a single man at that, in a society that we live in, to try to navigate his future wife. Because a lot of these women are just pure harlots, even the ones that go to church. They got the spirit of Jezebel. I'm just saying, man, and the same thing vice versa for the good women out here, single women that actually are trying to seek, their man of to be with the man of God. Man, I can only imagine how difficult it must be for you, ma'am. And I do pray that you good women and you good men, you went, you men of God and women of God, I do pray that y'all do seek one another, that y'all can find one another. Get married and have children together so you can raise godly children. Because this world that we live in, and don't give up either. Don't give up. Trust me. There is someone out there for you. Don't give up. But I just say pray. Pray real hard about it. You know, and be careful what you pray for too. Be careful what you pray for, because God will give you what you asking for. Mm-hmm. He definitely will. You know, um, I'm not gonna sit up here and make it seem like, oh no, don't deal with these women out here, and women don't try to deal with these men out here, because it's women out here that really believe in their minds, y'all. Man, excuse me, my lips are so dry. It's women out here that really believe in their minds, y'all. Excuse me, y'all. I'm tired of having to lick my lips, honestly. Um, it's women out here that really believe in their minds that all men are the same. All men are the same. And then it's men out here that think the opposite. They think that all women are the same. And honestly, all women are not the same. But I do see a lot of women across the internet and my algorithm that talk with 1 to 2 words, and they don't use full sentences. Must I say it again? It's giving. It's tea. Oh, I know they finna be mad at me. You could be mad, sweetheart, but it's a shame because it's 60, 70 plus year old women out here that's talking like that too. You should be ashamed of yourself. You're a grandmother. And then they okay with their young grandchildren running around here, young granddaughters running around here talking the exact same way. Cause grandma is giving. Okay, grandma. What? What is happening? What's happening? You said the world lacks love, God is love, everyone needs a relationship. It's the way of it is. The world, yes, the world lacks love. God is love. You know, he said the girl I used to work with that said it's giving was the worst morally of, oh my God, I cannot talk to women like that. This is exactly why I don't have any female friends. I don't, you know. I desire to connect with, godly women that has common sense, that are children of God, that speak in full sentences, and that are not Christian baddies or don't consider themselves Christian baddies, you know, that speak in full sentences. And yes, I do see some women online that actually speak with common sense, that speak in full sentences, that don't say things like, oh, it's giving. What is wrong with these women? You said she was a waiter that I don't got my glass. She was a waiter who copied people's credit card information. I'm sure that she's copying people's credit card information, because a lot of women that say it's giving and it's tea, they're copying one another all across the board, copying off one another, just talking like that. And then they say stuff like, cuz girl, cuz honey, cuz no, cuz what? Cuz what? Finish the sentence. Could you finish talking? I don't even understand what you're trying to say. And honestly, y'all, it righteously frustrates me when I have to listen to them talk. There was a lady, and I'm not gonna be, specific, but there was a lady in which I was trying to handle some professional business with this lady. Professional. Cause she's a professional, right? As I'm speaking to her in full blown sentences. Now, this is a lady that, evidently she is upper management. She has a very high, higher education, a higher level of education. So you would assume that she would talk, with sense. You would assume that, she's going to speak highly educated. But no, that's not what happened. As I'm trying to speak to her about what's on the paper, she pauses as she's reading a certain portion of the information to me. She pauses and looks at me and she's like, just out of nowhere, cause girl, cause see, it's given. And I'm like, oh my God. Oh my God. Mind you, that was a woman in another field. Okay. Now let's go to the doctor's office. I didn't have to change doctors. I didn't have to change doctors because my doctor started talking like that. I couldn't even talk to her. When I told her what my issue was and the pain that I was feeling, and she asked me how was I addressing my pain? And I told her I don't take medication. You know what I'm saying? God is my true healer, you know? But my last resort was coming here. She looked at me and she said, now this is a professional we're talking about, a doctor. A doctor. You hear me? She looked at me and she said, cause cause no. Mm-mm. Cause you gotta cause it's given after that I said, I'm done. I'm done. I gotta change doctors. I just cannot do this. You can't even communicate with these women because this is how they talk. You think I'm gonna, and then they just assume that because I'm a black woman, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna talk exactly like that. And I don't respond that way. And when I don't give them the same thing that they're giving back to me, they get frustrated. They get upset. And then they be lost for words. And it's like, then they look at you like you think that you're somebody. But I am a child of God. Exactly. They say stuff like, clock it, okay. It's get clock it, cause it's tea. And I promise you, man, like y'all can, man, look, even my husband know how frustrated I get. He knows how frustrated I get when I have to communicate with these women. Even Uber drivers, the Uber drivers. There was this Uber driver the other day. Well, not the other day, like a week or two ago. And don't get me wrong, she was very, you know what I'm saying? I was surprised that she gave good conversation and stuff like that. But, you know, of course, of course, the way that she talked, it was diabolical. You know, the short sentences, the short phrases, the short words, the short clock it. All I needed to hear was that, and I'm like, do you want me to bring that 5 star down to, 3 stars, 2 stars? I'm not about to talk to you anymore at this point. It's like sometimes, and then sometimes, y'all, the conversations will be going great with certain women. And then all of a sudden, they'll just do like this. Or they'll just say, clock it. Oh my God. Uh, yes, please leave. Please, because I don't know what you thought this was. You see what I'm saying? People that they come in here. So you mean to tell me that you've been in here for a total of 47 minutes, assuming in your brain that I was single. I'll be right back. You see what I'm saying? You can't even talk to a person because they don't even think they'll assume that you're single the whole time. No, I'm not single. I'm not. So you was in here for a whole nother purpose, evidently. I kind of figured. I kind of figured. Like a lot of y'all come in here, a lot of y'all men, y'all come in here, y'all not trying to hear anything that I'm talking about. Y'all don't want to hear anything that I'm talking about. Y'all just hoping that I say stuff like it's clock it. You hoping that I don't mention that I have a husband. Did you not hear me say husband since the very beginning of the stream? Maybe I ain't say it enough for you. These people are sick. Very sick in the mind. And you know what? Initially that was what my live stream was going to be about before I said you're turning life into a game. I was going to say that the whole entire world is sick. And y'all, we are in a pandemic. We are. The only thing is we don't need the mask. The only thing is we don't need to be 6 feet apart from one another. Because evidently, people are so robotic and stuck on data that they think that it's okay to be, a lot more closer up behind you than you can even imagine. People don't even give space between. They don't even want to give space between because they feel like it's okay to be extremely close behind you. But yeah, we are in a pandemic. I know a lot of y'all like a pandemic. No, we're not. They never said that. The news never said that. Well, look around you. Look at your family. Look at your friends. Look at the teachers. Look at the students. Look at the little children. Look at the pastors. Look at the politicians. And I know y'all probably like, okay, they're not sick. Yes, they are. They're sick in the minds. This whole entire world has a mental illness. That's the pandemic. And as a matter of fact, just scroll through your shorts. Scroll through your shorts. You know what I'm saying? Scroll through the live streams. And you're definitely going to see the mental illness pandemic amongst us. Pretty much the entire world, they haven't been diagnosed. Just see, this is the thing. Just because people haven't been to a psychiatrist or a therapist does not necessarily mean that they're not sick in the brains. They're sick, and you can clearly see it. All you had to do was pay attention to what happened on March the 28th. What happened? The No Kings protest. Oh, okay, the No Kings protest. It was just a protest full of sick-minded people that really believe that the world is going to somehow change if they can just go protest and say that they hate Donald Trump. The lust in this world is diabolical. Most men only support if they can hit. You feel me? Y'all women have to be careful. Not too many mature adults are out here. Exactly. One second. And honestly, like, I didn't write this. I didn't script out this stream, unfortunately, for the people that feel like, what is she talking about? She's just talking about anything. Just rewind from the very beginning. This is not a scripted stream. I understand that there is some people out here that write out what they're gonna say on their videos and their streams and things like that, but I'm not one of them. I came here to let y'all know that you turning your own life, into a game at this point, and you should actually value your life. And there are so many different things that people do that actually shows how they're spiritually dead and spiritually disconnected from God, but they're connected to the devil. They're connected to the ways of the world. They don't want to stop sinning. They find fun out of it. It's way too fun to stop at this point. It's way too fun to them for them to stop at this point. They don't want to put the drinks down. They don't want to put the weed down. They don't want to put the cigarettes down. They don't want to put, sleeping. They don't want to stop sleeping around. They don't want to stop going out partying and clubbing. They don't want to stop, idolizing their own children. Because believe it or not, it is possible to idolize your own child. They don't want to stop exploiting their little daughters and sons all over the internet because they don't feel like anything is wrong with it. Just, I don't think y'all understand. This is exactly why I did once upon a time have a YouTube channel for my children and for my kids. And don't get me wrong, I understand that the system is definitely watching me. So don't think that, just because y'all put something in black and white, that is exactly what made me stop. No, I even know that I shouldn't even be doing that because we living in a time where all you have to do is just post a picture of your child's neck. Post a picture of your child's neck and post a video of their little toes. The little newborn. Oh, the little newborn toes. You know what I'm saying? Give me 1 second. All you gotta do, soon as your little baby is born, post a picture of the baby's toes. Post a picture, post a video or whatnot, and these men are just so creepy. They so creepy. They so creepy. They like stuff like that. I mean, you would be surprised what turns people on. And you know what? I'm going to just say people because these women are just as sick as the men as well. It's not just the men that are pedos and creeps, it's women too. Y'all must have forgot that it's actually women out here that are attracted to 13-year-old boys and 12-year-old boys. Oh, yes, I did have a story time about how back when I was in grammar school, my my fifth grade teacher, my fifth grade teacher, who was at the time, see, when I was in fifth grade, I was 11. My teacher was, I want to say, 20 between the ages of 27 and 31. And that woman used to dress so disgusting in front of the whole class. I was the only kid that caught on to her disgusting ways. You know, all of the boys used to drool at the mouth for her because being a boy, they they see something and they like it. Okay, if you get what I'm saying. She had her breasts hanging all out and everything, and she's supposed to be our teacher. And When school was over, when school was over with, um, everybody went home, right? Everybody went their separate ways. Now I had left my homework in the classroom because I was the last one to leave out the class. And I had to go back into the class because I had left my homework in my desk. Y'all, I opened up the door and my teacher was sitting at her desk with one of the students, a boy, on her lap, and she was letting him touch her breast. And she jumped up the minute that I walked into class. My mouth dropped to the floor. She was like, what are you in here for? I was like, I'm just trying to get my homework. I'm just trying to get my homework. This woman. And I knew it. I knew that she was being very sexual with the little boys because of the things that she would do. Disgusting things that she would do. The way that she would dress. Trust me. Y'all might want to be careful. And then you know what? This is exactly why I say this is the mental illness pandemic that we're living in. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. I'm telling y'all. When you scroll through your shorts and you're going to see the new thing that's happening now, especially with these sick, disgusting, harlot black women that are teachers. They're dressing extremely disgusting in front of the little children. And then, they're just showing how, their day, the day in the life of being a teacher to a bunch of kindergartners, or the day in the life of being a teacher to a bunch of third graders. But excuse me, ma'am, do you not see what you have on? And then they teaching the children rap music in the classroom as they're teaching. What type of teaching is this? What has the world come to? Man. Oh, what's up, LJ? Welcome to the live. Yes, I'm telling you, true story. I'm not even lying to y'all. I had a real, like, seriously, I had a teacher, fifth grade teacher, my fifth grade teacher. She used to dress so nasty. And then I can't believe that I caught what, y'all, if I had never went back into the classroom that day, I would have never knew that she was letting the little boys, my peers, get a feel on her breast. And when I tell you that boy was so excited that he was able to do that. Did I tell someone? Of course. But y'all know, back then, this was like 2004, 2005. So back then, nobody wanted to believe me. And then I was going to a Catholic school where, the Catholic school that I was going to was all over the news anyway for the priest. He was filling up on the boys and, um taking them behind the curtains and stuff like that. And what did we have? We had Saturday mass, and then also I think we had to also go. I forgot what day of the week it was, but it was one of those weekdays where it was like every 2 weeks we would have to go to a mass, and then we would have to pray to the rosary and stuff like that. Now, for some odd reason, this priest, he was so obsessed with having third to fifth grade boys on one side of the room closer to him behind that curtain. By that curtain, so that he was. I used to see him come out from behind the curtain, and he would just call them in there like this. And they would each spend like 10 minutes with this dude. Come to find out, comes to find out, he was filling them up, okay? Not just touching and rubbing on them, but doing more than that, okay, to the little boys. And then you had the teachers and the nuns in the school that was doing the same exact thing. So, of course, nobody wanted to believe me. But when I ran my big fat mouth, oh, it got me in trouble. A world full of trouble. Just for trying to tell. But when you fast forward to today's time, 2026, right? These these teachers, they're getting younger and younger and younger. I'm seeing 19-year-old, 18-year-old teachers. You know what I'm saying? Well, not 18, but maybe like 19 to 21-year-old teachers dressing so nasty in front of these little kindergartners. And then the audacity of them to post it online, and the audacity of the world to love it. And the parents are just excited, and the only reason why they're excited, let me tell y'all, the only reason why the parents are excited, excuse me, see, the parents are excited because they feel like this teacher is viral. And my child is online. Girl, look at my child right here. Look, girl, look at this. Let me show you this video. You remember that teacher that went viral? Look, my daughter is in her classroom. My son is in her classroom. So you're not concerned about the way that this teacher is dressing? This chick got on a doggone half top, some biker shorts, and the breasts hanging all out, calling on your child's name. Okay, Ariel, what is 5 plus 5? And just all in the camera, breast all out in the camera. And then they love to turn around. They love to turn around and show y'all they whole backside. Because a lot of these women that are teachers are single. And they just need to grasp the attention of your baby daddy, that's dropping off his child at school. That's not a concern for y'all. That's not sickening to y'all. It's not sickening to you. Your child can't even go to school to learn because they're going to school to look at their teachers half naked. Uh was You said it was meant to be for you to see that because look at what you became today. Yes, I'm gonna be honest with you. That specific teacher that I'm talking about, when I caught her in a classroom letting a little boy feel on her breast, she actually hated me anyway. She could not stand me. And I couldn't stand her, to be honest, because I knew she didn't like me. And all I just wanted to do was simply learn. And you know what's crazy? Her class was an advanced placement class. Like, they placed me in her class because they had 3 5th grade classrooms. And she had one of the advanced 5th grade classrooms. So I was placed there because I was actually doing really good in school and stuff like that. Getting my grades was getting better and stuff like that. So they transitioned me to the advanced 5th grade class. And if you do even more better, then they hurry up and they transition you to 6th grade. Well, they give you 6th grade classes, you know. Um, but she did not want me to reach beyond that level. So she used to just keep me. That woman used to embarrass me in class in front of everybody. She could not stand me. She used to give me detention for no apparent reason. All it took was for another child to point the finger at me and blame me for a spitball being on the ceiling. And she's like, come here, detention. And I'm like, I didn't even do anything. Uh, you said my last years of high school, we had hella openly gay teachers. Some of them used to come in with women clothes sometimes, and yeah, the music is terrible. I remember when teachers used to idolize celebrities and ask us who was our favorite celebrity who wanted to be or looked up to, made us do projects. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yes. What? I don't know what Bean is talking about. Yeah, you know, um, the teach the see the school that I used to go to, the schools, cause y'all, I didn't transfer to so many different schools. It don't make no sense because we moved a lot, so we used to transfer a lot. But the schools that I went to back then, they used to make me. They used to try to make me idolize the flag, the American flag, and when I wouldn't, I would get placed in detention for the end of the day, or I would get sent on suspension. And the longest that I got suspended for not standing up and idolizing the flag was 10 days. 10 days suspension because I knew it was wrong. I knew it was wrong. At a very young age, I knew it was wrong. I didn't like doing it. Um, and my teachers hated the fact that I didn't like to do it. These teachers are so worldly, it don't make no sense. It don't make no type of sense. But I mean, it do make sense because I mean, they deep into the system. They're teachers, of course. They have to teach you the ways of the system. And if you don't abide by what they're teaching you, then what's going to happen? You're going to get placed in detention or you're going to go on suspension. And then they're getting a little harsher with it because then they're expelling you from school for the littlest things. But this world is disgusting. This world is full of creeps, pedos, and I'm talking about from the men and the women. It's not just the men, it's the women too. So y'all need to be careful dropping your children off at school and thinking everything is okay. Pay attention to their teachers too, because a lot of y'all don't. Y'all just be so thirsty to come and ask the teacher how your child doing in school, and you are not even paying attention to the teacher's personality or the way that the teacher is dressed and the way that the teacher is acting. We live in a society where everybody pretty much has gone mad and they all got a mental illness. And just because they wasn't diagnosed by, like I said, a psychiatrist or a therapist does not necessarily mean that they don't have a mental illness. When people are spiritually dead, they're mentally ill. You said teachers used to suspend you back then for cracking a good joke and or having a yes, yes they did. That is so true. That happened to me before. Well, actually, I ended up getting detention. I'm gonna be honest with you. When I was in when I was in fifth grade, before I transitioned to the advanced fifth grade class, my other fifth grade teacher, that woman was so evil. That woman, and I remember her name still to this day, Miss Green. I don't know where she is now, but that woman was the devil. That was the devil. She hated me so much that, yes, when I used to use a sense of humor in class, the first thing she would say is detention. And she wasn't playing. She would make sure that I would make my way to the detention room. And I'm like, I can't even say anything. I can't do anything. Like, it, the teachers back then was extremely strict, on you even speaking, period. You said you found out your music teacher was an Eastern Star. Wow. Demon. Yeah, a lot of these teachers are witches. Yes, they are. Man, I'm telling you, man. That's why I always just advocate strongly for homeschooling. Homeschool. Because don't try to act like y'all foreign to that word homeschool. She sound crazy. I gotta go to work. Okay. The only reason why you have to go to work is because you're aligned with the ways of the world. Because they told you to go to work. But if they put you back on lockdown, then you're back at home with your child and then you're homeschooling, right? You got your, well, actually, y'all be, how did y'all feel, you know what I'm saying, back in 2020, back in 2021, when they kept everybody on lockdown and you weren't able to go to work because you were working from home and your child was going to school from home? And they were just sitting in front of their tablet or their laptop all day long. But then as soon as I mentioned homeschooling, it's like, she sound crazy. I wouldn't have sounded crazy if it was 2021 again or 2020, because you wouldn't have a choice. You feel me? It seemed like when people don't have a choice, then they're not going to deny that. They're going to say, you know what, you're right. But when you have a choice, because the government allows you to, you know, the government allows you to, not God, because y'all evidently a lot of y'all don't believe in God, but you say that you do, but you don't, because you don't even believe that you have a choice. You don't even believe that you have an option. That's why a lot of people be out here like, I don't have a choice. Yes, you do. Who life is it? Theirs or yours? And how you going to live your life? Are you going to live your life according to the ways of the world? According to what man told you to do? Or what God is allowing you to do? And he's allowing you to make choices, and you can't even do that because you're afraid. You afraid. People complain, sit up and complain about their jobs all day long, but then as soon as you tell them, well, just quit. I don't have a choice. I have to go to, okay, well, shut your mouth then. You steady complaining about you having a job. Do you not know how many people out here wish that they did have a job? It's a lot of unemployed people right now that can't even find work. It's extremely difficult to find work in 2026. And you sitting up here complaining while you sitting at your desk making money, doing nothing. Because a lot of y'all really go to work to do nothing but complain. A lot of y'all got a lot of leeway on the job, but yet and still you keep complaining. You work Monday through Friday. Some of y'all work Monday through Thursday. Some of y'all work Thursday through Sunday. And then you got about 2 or 3 days off. And you still complaining. Still ungrateful. You said 2020, I was a sophomore when COVID hit. That's when I started waking up being out of school so long. I was supposed to be a junior at that time, got held back by one of them evil teachers. Oh, you a young one. You smart. You smart for even actually waking up around that time, because it seemed like a lot of people, they brains just the brain cells that they did have, it just started dying off. A lot of them, their brain cells was beginning to fry little by little, and now they have none left at this point. They probably got like half of a brain cell left. So they really can't think. They can't think because the government thinks for them. They allow the government to think for them. You shouldn't have your children watching right now then. In what language? Uh See, now the trolls is coming in. Now the people with half of the brain cells, they're coming in. And see, they're taking their own lives for a joke. But it's something that Dan said, you know what I'm saying? Even though it sounds like you're a troll, I do want to say something pertaining to the food, okay? I kind of cracked a little light joke, with my husband a couple weeks ago, and I was like, I can't stand eating this food so much that I'll turn into a horse and just eat hay at this point. I can't stand eating this food so much that I wouldn't even mind going outside chewing on a tree. Just saying. And it was a joke, but at the same time, if you think about it, right? The food that we're eating, come on now, y'all. Let's be 100. The food that we're eating is 3D printed. It's GMO. Even the water, even the water has chemicals in it. You can't even drink water in peace. So what if I did decide that I wanted to go outside and just pick up some leaves and put it on a tray and just start eating it in front of everybody? Would I be weird? Would you consider me weird if the meat that we're eating they claim has 2% human meat inside of it? A few years ago it was 2% human meat, but I can only imagine how much human meat is actually inside the meat now. Seriously. Right. I would be considered weird because nobody does it. You know? I am so sick and tired of eating this disgusting, nasty, 3D printed GMO food, laboratory made food. I'm tired of eating it. It's to the point where sometimes I just don't even eat. Because you know what? When I'm cooking, my spirit be picking up on this food extremely fast. And I just be looking at it like, especially when I'm cleaning. I clean my meat, okay? And people say, a lot of people don't clean their meat because they say it doesn't matter if you clean it. And that's disgusting to me. You know what I'm saying? What, you just gonna eat some bacteria infested meat with red dye and stuff all over it that's considered blood and all of that stuff? Like, I'm just saying, you don't want to clean it off. You don't want to let it sit inside of some baking soda at least. Well, that's what I do. Once upon a time, I would clean my meat, rinse it off. But now what I do, when I take it out of the package, first of all, I clean out my sink real good. You know what I'm saying? I'm not just sitting my meat into the sink. Like, I don't just do it like that. So I clean out my sink real good. I put the water in the sink, a little bit of baking soda, let the meat just sit in there for a little bit. Then, when I take the water out, I rinse the meat off, washing the meat real good, and I'm cleaning all of that gunk out of the meat. But as I'm looking at it, I'm like, this don't even look right. It don't matter if it's fish, shrimp, beef, chicken, doesn't matter, y'all. It just don't look right. Don't look right, and obviously you can tell that it's not real. And then especially when you go to the meat market and you pick up some meat It says USDA. Come on now, you already know it's made in the lab. You already know it got a little bit of, human inside of it. So they're turning us into, y'all already know what they're trying to turn us into. And then let's not forget about the food, the dry foods on the shelf. It's actually bugs. You're eating bugs. You eating bugs. I'm just, and people that y'all see the stuff on the internet, but don't act like it's foreign to you when I'm talking about it. You see it for yourself on the internet. And I cook a lot. So when I'm cooking, I'm paying attention. I'm literally picking this food up, looking at it, examining it. I'm looking at it, and I can tell that what we're eating is not real. And don't get me started on the formula for the babies. This is exactly why these children are 9 years old and they like 6 feet tall already. These little boys are 10 years old and their voices are deep. And they got a little bit of, a little bit of hair, a little mustache and everything already. Looking like they about 15. These little girls are 11, 10 and 11 years old with all this up here already. Looking like they about 16, 17. And even the 16 and 17-year-olds are looking like they're 21. Don't get me started on the GMO formula, laboratory made formula. And they say breastfeed. Me personally, yes, I agree. Breastfeed, but when you're consuming that food that you eating, the fake food, then what you think gonna come out of your breast milk? It's crazy. Oh yeah, for sure. You know what I'm saying? I'm a strong advocate for breastfeeding. You know what I'm saying? TMI, but I breastfed all my children. But I just want to say that when you get hungry and you're eating, it doesn't matter if you're a vegetarian either, by the way, because a lot of y'all be like, just don't eat meat. It doesn't matter. All of this food is printed. It's made in the lab, okay? The lettuce, go ahead and go do your own research. Even when you try to eat healthy, you can't even eat healthy. Even homegrown food. They putting this stuff in the dirt, in the ground. To be honest, who said that? Exactly. Bugs in the dry foods. You know what I'm saying? Um, to be honest, is nah. When I was 16, I did not look like I was 21. Okay, when I was 16, you could tell I was a 16-year-old. When I was 16, sometimes people were mistaking me for being like 13 or 14 because I still looked young. And the 16-year-olds back then, they didn't look half as grown as these 16-year-olds do now. It's a shame. It's a shame. I seen this one girl, she was talking about she's 21, but I promise you, y'all, she looked like she's 40. And I'm looking like she said she 21. She looked like she 40. It's crazy. It is crazy. Yeah. Yeah. And then the elderly people, you know, unfortunately, they're acting like they're young children. Is sickening. The elderly folks are acting like they are 80-year-old women, shaking their old saggy rumps. Okay, acting like they are 30 years old again. I don't know what happened to a lot of the elders, but they don't respect themselves anymore. Because why are you on TikTok and Instagram and all social media platforms? You know, you and your husband, y'all doing dances. And let y'all tell it, oh, let them live. They're living. What do you mean? Live your life, but not through social media. Why are you 80 years old and you sitting up here doing the latest TikTok trends? Why are you 80 years old and you talking about get ready with me for church? And then you still dressing all inappropriate. 80 years old though. Don't get me wrong now. Some of these 80-year-old women nowadays, they looking like they about 60 now. They don't even look their age anymore. They looking like they're younger. But you sitting up here, you sitting up here dressing for church with your old saggy breasts hanging out. Get ready with me for church. Ma'am, please do yourself a service and go sit down. Yes, you said I can vouch. I seen a woman in her 80s throwing it back. Man, look, I'm telling you, I actually had I saved this video on my playlist, but this was months ago. I already got rid of it because it was so disgusting to see. But it was like and no, it was not AI. You know what I'm saying? It was not AI. I could tell the difference. It was four women, older women, between the ages of 70 and 80, almost 90, telling you. And they were up in the kitchen. One of them was in a wheelchair and the rest of them was sitting around a table. And they were just talking and cracking jokes on one another. And she said, get on up and do that dance again that you did last time. And she got up, one of the older ladies got up and started twerking in front of the camera, and the other old lady was the one that was recording. And I'm like, what did I just watch? Did I literally just watch a bunch of elderly women twerking and doing a I don't know what's going on, but I could tell you what is going on, man. These people have lost it. They lost it. They lost it to the point where they have not an ounce of, I don't, look, the brain cells have diminished at this point. And that goes for pretty much everybody. It goes all the way down to the little children, man. Even the little children is just not there anymore. You know, little children can't even be little children because their parents are not raising them up and training them up correctly according to the scriptures. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, LJ. The same grandmothers that are teaching the youth. And that, see, back when I was younger, you know, the elders, they was giving us some wisdom. Okay, they were giving us wisdom, We had to learn from their wisdom. Either you're gonna pick up from what they're telling you, or you just not gonna learn at all. And they were a lot more stricter. And they didn't do all of that. So see, social media didn't really come about until, I want to say, well, I didn't end up on social media, MySpace or whatever that was, until like 2008. You know, it was MySpace, and then it was Tagged, and then it was Facebook, and then it turned it up a notch. But honestly, before all of that, it was AOL and Yahoo. But they didn't do all of that. See, the elders back then, they were not invested into social media at all. It seemed like soon as, I want to say, like 2010, 2011 hit, that's when it seemed like all of the old folks and all of the middle-aged people just started transitioning on over to social media. Everybody had to get them a Facebook. 2010, 2011, everybody's on Facebook. Even the old folks, even your pastor was on social media. Exactly. Wasn't none of that going on. But you know what's crazy? This is the craziest part. The same exact elders that was raising us up on wisdom, they actually have no more wisdom left for us anymore, because either they are already dead and gone, or they're still alive but they're spiritually dead now. And it's to the point where they're highly invested into social media. And then they're talking about clock it and it's tea and it's giving. Yeah, the old folks. You know, that's a shame that these young children, they don't even know what it's like to really have a real grandmother, a real grandfather. Like, they don't know what it's like for, the elderly folks to actually give them wisdom, because they're not giving them wisdom at all. They're not giving them wisdom at all. They have the wisdom that they have for them is about social media. The wisdom that they have for them is about, okay, yes, sweetheart, that dress looks really good on you. But grandma, you know this dress is very tight, right? You know this dress goes way high up above my knees. Well, I know, but it looks really cute. You know, their great grandchildren are opening up their legs at the age of 12 and 13, and they don't have no wisdom for them. The only thing that they got to say to them is go get an abortion. And some of them is okay with, the young children doing whatever they do in the bedroom. They don't have nothing to say anymore, because social media has taken over. And then they're highly invested into politics as well. This whole world is sick. Whole world is sick. And everybody is turning their life into a game. And nobody is valuing their lives anymore. They feel like nobody is valuing their lives anymore. They feel like, hey, it is what it is. I've been living like this for the last few years, I might as well keep on doing it. Because a lot of people have became extremely impatient with themselves, and it's like, they want to gain wisdom, but they feel like it's too much. It take too much time for them to just simply, learn and gain knowledge and wisdom. It's just too much for them. It's too much for them to just, open up their Bibles. It's too much for them to even gain a close relationship with God. It's too much for them. That's going to take too much of their time. But the only time that you say a prayer, the only time that you pray is when the pastor tell you to bow your head in church on Sunday. The only time that you pray is when you're trying to get approved for a house or an apartment or a car. The only time that you pray is when it's something that's beneficial to you. And that's when it all boils down to materialism. That's the only time that you pray. Other than that, it's like God doesn't even exist. A lot of y'all people are extremely selfish and ungrateful. And it's to the point where, you know, like I said, you don't even value being alive. You don't even, when you wake up in the morning, you woke. That's it. First thing you do is start complaining. Some of y'all, the first thing you do when you wake up, not only just do you complain, but you look at your phone, seeing what time it is. Ah, man, it's still early. Let me turn back over. Oh man, I gotta go to work. Oh man, I gotta get these kids up so they can go to school. Oh man, let me see, did I get paid? Oh my god, my check came, but it ain't even a lot. Do you not know how many people is not getting paid that actually wish that they did have a check? You still ungrateful. Phone slaves. Exactly, or in serious danger. That's the only time that they pray. You know? You done got into a car accident and you were at fault and you hoping that the insurance company don't come after you. You hoping that the police don't come to the scene and see that you lit and you drunk or whatever and you got alcohol on your breath and you don't want to go to jail. You don't want to go to jail for a DUI. So now you praying, oh, God, please, God. And then you're not even really praying. You just want God to come and save you at this point. And then what happens when he does? What happens when God does give you grace? Just because you said, oh, God, please, please, God, please don't let me go to jail. And then there you go. There's your grace. You're not going to jail, actually. You're just getting a little small citation. Your car messed up, but, I mean, it's nothing to you anyway, because you can get that fixed, even though you still complain about how short your paycheck is. It's just mighty funny to me how people, they complain about how much their check is, but they still making it. You still making it. You still able to pay your bills. You still able to pay your rent, your car note. You still able to keep food in your house. Overall, you have a roof over your head. You got clothes on your back and shoes on your feet, and yet and still you keep complaining. Y'all are just so, man, y'all ungrateful. But then when God give you that grace, you still don't value that. You still take that for a joke. Now over the weekend, you renting a car through Enterprise and you going out with your homies or you going out with your girls, and then you getting drunk and you getting behind the wheel again. Risking your life again because you don't value your life. Exactly. Going right back to the same old thing. A world full of ungrateful, unholy people. Ungrateful. They unholy. They don't value their life. They don't care about what God gifted them. And I'm gonna be honest with you, the greatest gift that you can even have right now is life. Exactly. They look at influencers' lives too much, wanting to live their life. Yes, yes. They look at and I'm gonna be honest with you. I used to be the same way when I was addicted to Facebook. When I was addicted to social media back in 2019. You know, just always looking at the next person's life and trying to compare man's to theirs. And I'm looking like, how how did she get the house? How did she? We the same age. How did she manage to graduate from college? Like, how did she become successful? How did she get married? Like, how did she? Like, why am I still in this position? How does she elevate over me? I'm comparing my life to the next person's, and I just thank God every day that I got to a point in my life. You know, matter of fact, it's crazy because 1 year after that, like you said, LJ, when the COVID situation happened, that's when it woke me up. Honestly, when the COVID situation happened, it did wake a lot of people up. And it also did not wake a lot of people up. And it doggone for sure did not wake any of my family members up because it seemed like when the COVID situation happened, they all became lost, deep, deep lost in the sauce to the point where they getting juiced up. They got the vaccines going on. They getting 10 booster shots. You know what I'm saying? Thinking it's going to help them to live. But the whole time is actually turning them into Satan's minions. It's frying their brain cells. They can't even think for themselves anymore. They all of them felt like, oh, you gonna come over here in my house? You need to wear a face mask, rubber gloves, and you need to have on shoe covers as well. I'm not doing that. Well, I don't want to get sick. Okay, but guess what? They did all that and they still got sick. Still, but did I get sick? No, I did not. I did not. I never did I ever catch the CV-19. And I thank God that I didn't. But honestly, a lot of people was failing to realize that it was actually the flu that was labeled as CV-19. And another chance to be alive, exactly. Yep. You said that you was rapping, trying to get this and that, doing music and shows. Um, I'm glad I dropped that. I would have still been dead. Man, yeah. Yep. Yeah, the COVID situation, man, it changed a lot of people. It's either you woke up or you didn't. And you know what's crazy? Last year in 2020, oh, by the way, y'all, Happy New Year. I know a lot of people like, what? New Year's was on January the 1st. No, the real official New Year is April the 1st. Go do your research. April the 1st is actually the official New Year. But see, they cover it up by saying April Fools. Happy April Fools. But I'm not going to dive into that with y'all. Y'all could just go on ahead and scroll back through my live streams and go all the way back to December the 31st of 2025. And you're going to see that I did a whole video on how New Year's Day is actually today, April the 1st. But they covering it up through April Fools and things like that. The ways of the world. It's the system. It's the way that they ride, you know. But it's either, like I said, it's either back when COVID had happened, it's either you was gonna wake up or you was gonna stay asleep. And like I was about to say, in 2025, unfortunately, even the people that did wake up from the COVID situation, once the COVID situation happened and we all were on lockdown and stuff like that, even the people that did wake up, they went back to sleep. They went back into a deep sleep last year. When the whole entire, the world started to shift even more, especially with the government shutdown. It showed a lot of people true colors, especially with the Charlie Kirk situation. It helped to show a lot of people's true colors. Yeah, that man might have been wrong for the things that he was saying or whatever the case may be, but it actually showed us who had a very cold heart, and it showed us the good-hearted folks. It showed us the godly people, and it showed us the ungodly people. Why did I say that? Because it pretty much showed us who likes to mock death, and you would be surprised. It's not just the hoodlums and the gangsters out here that's mocking death and peeing on one another's grave and saying F your hood and F where you're from, you know what I'm saying, and F your dead homies and stuff like that. It's not just that. In that specific group of people, you would be surprised. In 2025 should have opened your eyes to show you that actually it can be elderly people. It can be pastors, yes, little children, teenagers, college kids. Man, everybody showed their true colors last year. Everybody did. Or should I say, yesterday was last year. But like I said, we ain't even gonna go there. But yeah, everybody showed their true colors back then, around that time. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Check it out for sure. Yep, because that day, that day that I did that stream, a lot of people came on, and a lot of people was eager to learn with me and my husband both. I actually picked up and learned a lot that day as well. But yeah, I'm just like you, LJ. I knew that New Year's was wrong. I mean, when you sit back and you think about the way that this world is set up, and you think about how we was all of us were conditioned since birth, and as time went on, we had to uncondition ourselves from the things that we were already conditioned to. You're gonna realize that a lot of stuff is fake. New Year's Eve and all that stuff is fake. Thanksgiving, Christmas, all that pagan holidays, all that paganism and all that stuff, man. You're gonna wake up, I'm telling you, you're gonna wake up stronger. Yep. Mocking death is a sin, man. Mocking death is a sin. And then people kept trying to oh, you're making excuses for Charlie Kirk. I didn't even know this man. I didn't even know who he was until the whole world started talking about him and mocking his death. You know what I'm saying? So the whole world started doing it. But I know for a fact that it's wrong to mock someone's death just because you disagree with them, just because you didn't like them, just because the things that they said was wrong. Okay, majority of the things that he said was wrong. Some of the things that he said, you can sit back and agree with some of the things, but it doesn't make it right to say, "Aha, that's what you get for dying," you know. And then they had the trends going on as well. Seriously. If a politician that you hate so much, such as your president, was to, you know, unfortunately, in front of the cameras, be assassinated, do you think it's right to laugh and say, yeah, I'm telling you, I can almost guarantee you the whole world is definitely going to laugh at this man when he dies, you know? But we can't do that. We can't do that. It don't matter how much hatred you have for a person. It doesn't matter how much wrong they've done to you or done to the world or whatever the case may be, man. You cannot sit there, point fingers, laugh at them, make jokes about them, do trends on them, and say that's what they're get. What that's what they get. I'm glad that they died. Like, come on now. What type of person are you? At that point, you're not human. You don't even have a heart. Yes, 2025 definitely showed us that a lot of people are not human. And I'm gonna read a few more comments, and I'm definitely gonna get out of here, y'all, cause I got something I gotta do. Yeah, yeah. It was originally 9 months. It was originally um April to December. You know, they created January, February, March, and it makes sense. Like, it makes so much sense. Look how short February is. Look at how short February is. And so that's why I say to myself, how is it that one year it can be February the 28th, and then the next year it can be February the 29th, right? I'm saying that right. Why is it that every time, like for instance, I think we had got to February 28th this year. So next year is probably going to be February 29th. So think about the people that were born. Think about the people. Have you ever thought about that? Think about the people that were born on February the 28th and February 20th. So do they have two birthdays then? Or do they not have a birthday at all? But that just shows you right there, right, that your birthday don't matter. Because every day is your birthday. Every day that you wake up is every day that you able to wake up, God is giving you another chance in another time. And he's giving you another opportunity to change, because at any given second, like I said before, and people don't like when I say this, but it's the truth. Look at all the wars that's happening in all these other countries. At any given second, anything can happen right here in America. And people just got too much pride to realize that. They feel like, oh, this is America. Nothing's going to happen to us. Things are going to happen in those other countries because they always go to war. Y'all, it doesn't matter if this is America is already under a strong judgment. Do y'all not realize that God is actually still giving America grace because he's giving you a chance to change every day that you wake up? He's still giving you a chance. Those other people in those other countries unfortunately didn't have a chance. Don't get me wrong, it's still people that was able to live through the wars and things like that, you know, that still has a chance still to this day. But there's some people that got caught in the midst of those wars, and you know they didn't get a chance again. We are still getting a chance every day. And y'all taking it for a game. You taking your life for a game. You think, yeah, they just threatening us. Yeah, they not gonna do nothing. Yeah, like I said, at any given second, anything can happen. Any given second. And y'all still think that it's a game. Value your life. Be grateful. Be grateful for your life. Because like I said, it's people in other countries. They didn't get an opportunity to wake up again the next day because they got caught in the midst of it all. You said last time I wished death on somebody, I almost lost my life the next day. God humbled me. Hey, man, that's a testimony right there. And, you know, see, look, that's what I'm saying. That's a testimony alone by itself. See, you can't play with stuff like that. I'm not talking about you. I'm saying to the people, like, you can't mock you. I'm telling you, it don't matter how wrong a person is. It doesn't matter what they said. It doesn't matter what they did. You cannot mock death under any circumstances whatsoever, because that stuff can come right back on you. It can come right back on you. It's like a boomerang, you know? But when God give you a chance, you know, and he's giving you grace or whatever, I'm telling you, you better value that. You said, when I got hip on the pagan holidays, it blew my mind. Bible never said Jesus. Exactly. Jesus was not born on Christmas, okay? Yeah, they conditioned us our whole entire lives to make us believe that Jesus' birthday was December the 25th. Cut it out. It doesn't even say that in the scriptures. Never rose on Easter. Come on now. And watch how many people, because Easter Sunday is coming up. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's this Sunday. If I'm not mistaken, or next Sunday, one of them. But look at how many people is finna put on their Sunday Easter best. They about to go all out, man. People using up their tax money, they checks and stuff. My mom, when I was a kid, my mom used to, every time she would get paid on Saturday, we would go get our hair done. My brother would get his hair cut, and then she would take us to this place. It's like a strip mall area, and inside of the store they have Easter outfits and wedding dresses and all type of stuff. And she used to go to town spending a lot of money. And when I tell you, she was coming up out of there spending $200 just getting us set and getting us ready for Easter Sunday. And then we could not stay up late on Saturday nights, because the next day we had to go to church, you know. And she was spending hundreds of dollars on that, because they believed and they made us believe that Jesus rose on Easter Sunday. Thanksgiving was a Native American. Yes, there you go. Come on now. Come on, man. I'm gonna be honest with you. I wish that I was this young. Yo, I don't even know how old you are specifically, but I see that according to you, you said that you was a sophomore in 2020. Man, I wish I was this young and I was very smart like this and I knew the ways of the world at such a young age. Being that a lot of these children and teens and young adults have the opportunity to be woke right now, and some of them actually are woke, that is a blessing. That's a blessing. Yep. Unfortunately, I saw the video. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I didn't know who he was until the whole internet. I mean, like, it could not go out of your algorithm, because it was all up and down, you know, your algorithm about Charlie Kirk when that had happened. Everybody was talking about it, you know. You said, I wish I could make that up, wish death on somebody next day got in a T-bone collision. Oh, man. Man, that's what's up. 22 years old. I didn't start waking up into the ways of this world, fully start waking up into the ways of this world until I was 27. Yeah, like 27. So yeah, you know, um, and kudos to y'all, you know, young people that's young, that's learning, that's still eager to learn, that wants to learn. I'm just grateful that, you know, we have a child that we training up, that we are raising up, that she knows nothing about the holidays. Knows nothing about the holidays. You know, we don't even introduce her to those things. She don't even see it. And some of these cartoons, we watch what we show her. We watch exactly what we show her. That's why she watched biblical cartoons. Because some of these cartoons, they try to push it inside of the cartoons. They'll put Christmas and Easter inside of the cartoons. And the minute that I catch on to that, I'm up. Let me turn this doggone TV off. Nope. You know, she don't know anything about no Easter. You know, the other day we had took her somewhere, and it had like baby chicks. The place that we took her to, they had the little baby chicks inside of there, right? And then the theme around the baby chicks was Easter. They had Easter, the fake Easter eggs sitting around the baby chicks, and then they had dressed up the glass, uh the glass that the baby chicks was in, and they put Happy Easter all over it. And I mean, all of the kids ran over there, and they was just so invested into looking into the glass and looking at the baby chicks and the Easter eggs. And I'm looking like, my daughter is not going over there. She didn't even look that way, and I'm glad she didn't see it. You know what I'm saying? Every time there is a holiday, we keep her away from it. We keep her in the house. She knows nothing about Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year, nothing. I mean, not one holiday. She don't know nothing about. She slept all the way through the 4th of July. She slept all the way through New Year's Eve. We didn't teach her none of that stuff. And as a matter of fact, the only thing that she did learn was when I was live, she learned that New Year's Eve is a finesse and it's not real. Oh, she watching the biblical cartoons. Yep. Yes. Thank the Lord for your wisdom, man, at such at a young age. Seriously. You know? Because we got older children too, you know. We got older children. We got a teenager who actually picks up from the both of us. So I mean, they're learning, and we gotta uncondition them, you know, out the ways of this world. It's unfortunate that they are part of the system who's trying to condition them deeply condition them into the ways of the world. But see, what we do, man, we just pray over them. We pray for them, you know, just ask God to get them out of that mindset, you know, bring them out of it, regardless if they in the system. Because it is some teens and some children that's a part of the system that actually is able to still some way, somehow navigate and gain the knowledge to shift themselves the ways of the world, and being conditioned. Which I trying to turn my YouTube off, my live off YouTube. I don't even know that person. So no, I am not doing split screens and stuff like that. I actually really came on here to talk about how people don't value their life and they take it for a joke. Um you said when I was 22, I was in and out of jail. You know what I'm saying? Shoot, when I was 22, yeah, I did get into some police trouble when I was 22. When I was 22, I was too busy in the Matrix. I was so like in the Matrix. It didn't even make no sense. So, yeah, it's a blessing that you had an opportunity. Man, that's a blessing. For real. That's all I can say. It's a blessing that you still learning too to this day, and you gaining more and more wisdom. Shout out to you for even wanting to learn and understand. You said the world is so wrong. They'll try to make her feel bad for not knowing about these pagan festivals. Oh, they already tried it. They already tried it. Yeah. What was that? We had took her with us to a store. Yeah, actually, it was around Christmas. And see, everybody, the whole world, was they they was ready for Christmas. They was getting ready and prepared for Christmas. All of the kids, they walking around with their parents, going into the stores, but we had to do something important in the store. So we were ignoring, the world and their worldly ways and how they just so brainwashed into the paganism. We was ignoring all of that. So when we get to the counter, we was holding our daughter, and the lady, she said, "Oh my gosh, she's so cute. Hey, cutie. I know you can't wait for Santa Claus to bring you some gifts." So we stopped her right there. She don't believe in Santa Claus. We don't do that Santa Claus stuff. We do not believe in Christmas, okay? We don't celebrate Christmas in our household whatsoever. She was like, "Oh, well, she's just a baby. She has a lot of learning to do. So yeah, no, she's learning now. We don't celebrate Chris. See, people are so disrespectful, y'all. It's like when you tell them that you don't celebrate any of these pagan holidays, they get offended. And then they take offense to the way that you raise your child. If we raise our child a certain way, that's how we raise her. Okay, we're not bringing her up and conditioning her like how y'all mothers and grandmothers and grandfathers and fathers did y'all. You know what I'm saying? How the world, even if your parents didn't raise you or your grandparents didn't raise you, and you was out here on your own, you allowed the world to condition you into that. You know what I'm saying? So just because you was conditioned don't mean that everybody else should be the same exact way. Like, I mean, it seemed like everywhere that we had went with her around that time, unfortunately, when we had to take her out to handle business, people were constantly saying it. "Oh my God, I know she can't wait for Santa Claus to bring." We don't celebrate holidays. We don't celebrate holidays. And then they look at you like you crazy. They look at you like you don't even belong on this earth. Like, who are you? Are you an alien? Where did you come from? No, you must celebrate holidays. Then they'll say stuff like, "Oh, you must be a Jehovah's Witness." That's disrespectful. Why do I have to be a Jehovah's Witness because I decided that I don't want to celebrate holidays anymore because we found out the truth. Okay? We know the truth. Uh, could you get Quinn out of here who keeps saying the same thing? You said I appreciate it also. I know y'all from Chicago, so y'all can imagine. Oh, yeah, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, you from St. Louis? Oh yeah, St. Louis is on the borderline of Illinois, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Chicago is getting worse. It's getting worse, but we stay from outside, man. We do not deal with these people. We don't want to be around them. And then when we do have somewhere to go, we be put up away from the world. Said, that's the spirit of error and him getting upset. Who getting upset? I'm just saying, you know how people keep on saying, "Oh, when they complain about their jobs and stuff like that," and you tell them like, "Well, just quit, just stop working. I don't have a choice." You do have a choice. Well, me, I don't have a choice. Okay, I don't have a choice to be like the rest of these women out here. I'm different. I don't want to be like them. I don't want to talk like them. Talking about clock it and it's tea and it's given. Man. Oh yeah, I already know how St. Louis get down. Oh yeah, I know. I know it's bad out there. Oh yeah, they get upset when you don't push it on your children, but how you gonna get upset because I've decided that this is how I would like to raise my children? You handle your business, and do what you gonna do in your household and continue on celebrating them pagan holidays. Because I'm just be honest, I'm gonna ask and I'm gonna pray that y'all come out of that mindset, But if you don't, sorry to tell you this, but you and your children will be in a lake of fire. Yes, the children, yes, because you're not bringing them up according to the scriptures. You're not raising godly children. That's the truth, y'all. Seriously. When you raising up a bunch of demons, you know what I mean? You raising up a bunch of demons. And a lot of these children, unfortunately, they don't know. But a lot of them are definitely gonna end up in the lake of fire. Especially as they get older. I'm not talking about the innocence in the children, the little small little babies, innocent little babies, that don't know no better. They can't even think for themselves. I'm talking about the children that's old enough to actually understand. And they are old enough to know right from wrong. Old enough to, when they're old enough to know right from wrong, you're leading your children down the wrong path and they are going to end up in a lake of fire. A lot of children are. A lot of children that passed on have already went to hell already. Y'all think I'm crazy? And I'm not. It's just the truth. A lot of children are already on their first death right now. A lot of children that do know right from wrong, that do understand, hey, that's wrong. I shouldn't even be doing that. If they old enough to understand that, they old enough to understand that they shouldn't be doing. So there was a situation that happened in Chicago. I'm pretty sure y'all probably are familiar with this because it had went viral. Remember when all of those children had jumped on that mother and her children here in Chicago? They were old enough to know that that was wrong. A lot of these children are old enough to understand that was wrong. They don't have no more, ain't no more grace for them. What you mean? No more grace unless they decide with their brains that, hey, I want to go to God. I need to pray. I want to know who God is. I want to go to church. I want to learn. You know what I'm saying? When they old enough to understand that, I'm telling you. So don't sit here and try to act like, oh, she said kids going to hell. Yes, they are. Yep, I said it and I'll say it again. Kids, the children that understand, that know what they're doing, even the children that's coming in these live streams, they old enough to know how to get into a live stream. They old enough to navigate through Google and send out emails and stuff like that, and post pictures and stuff online. I don't care if they 9 years old and 8 years old and 10 years old. At that point, when you know what you're doing and you know what you are capable of, you're no longer innocent. Okay, no longer innocent. So yes, children can definitely go to hell for doing wrong, especially when they can't find their way to God. They can't even, it's like they know everything else wrong. They know right from wrong, but they know to do wrong. You get what I'm saying? So I'm glad y'all understand what I'm saying. To the people that's agreeing, I'm glad you get what I'm saying. See, I have been learning a lot about parenting. I'm telling y'all, I've been learning a lot more about parenting and training the child up in the way that they should go according to the scriptures. I have been Proverbs taught me that. All right. I've been diving deeper into the scriptures when it comes down to parenting. Yes. Yes. Children can go to hell when they know right from wrong. And especially when they don't want to, when they keep doing what they do and they don't want to listen to you, and they don't want to listen to discipline, and they reject discipline. When children reject discipline, they're rejecting knowledge, okay? Because discipline is going to give them knowledge. But when they reject that and they don't listen, they on their way to hell. The devil is getting them. The devil got their soul. Shout out to you, Jace. Oh yeah. Uh yep, I'm scrolling up, y'all. Yeah, yes, LJ, they getting married for the wrong reasons. Do y'all not know how many people, how many women are intentionally getting married for their own benefit? A lot of women are out here getting married because they just need a man with some money. They just need a man to pay off their bills and pay off their debt while they selfish behinds keep their little income, you know? And then they want to get their tubes tied. They want to get on birth control. They don't even want to have children. When children are a blessing, children are a gift from God. I don't want to get my tubes tied. I don't want to get on birth control. I don't care how many. I don't care what nobody say. People always trying to, girl, you got a lot of kids. Yep, and I will continue to have more. Because guess what? When God is blessing me with the advantage to have children, because see, the thing is, right? He said, be fruitful and multiply. Be fruitful and multiply. Okay? You must have the fruit of the spirit, though. Not just open up your legs and multiply more children, because that's what the scriptures say. No, 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 no. You have to have the fruit of the spirit, okay? You got to be able to wanna learn and walk with Christ. You gotta wanna learn to walk a righteous path. You gotta wanna learn wisdom. Not you gotta want that wisdom, that knowledge. You gotta just want to gain a close relationship with the Most High God. And then that's when you say, you know what? I'm ready for a marriage. I'm ready for a husband. I'm ready to have children. So I can bring my children up. Because, see, the thing is, the people that got the fruit of the Spirit, we should want to bring more children into this world because, so we can make the world a better place. Right? Uh, what Jay say? Yep. Oh, yeah, yeah. Training won't be fun, but you can't give up. Most parents give up and lead their children to the devil. We all were born with sin. Yes, that's the thing. You know what I'm saying? People be giving up on their kids, and you gotta understand that your child ain't gonna come with innocence. I mean, when they're little tiny babies, you know, and they can fit in your arms, and you giving them a bottle and they can't speak. Of course, they're pure and they're innocent, but see, they born into a world of sin. So as they get older and they grow and they turn one and they turn two and they get three and four, you know, and as they grow, they're gonna pick up and do the wrong thing, but you have to teach them to shift away from the wrong thing. That's wrong. You don't do that. We don't do that. Okay, that's a no. You know what I'm saying? You got to teach your children. You have to train them up. You can't be lazy as a parent. Don't give up on your children. Don't get upset because they doing wrong. It is our job as their parents to train them according to the scriptures. We got to train them, because how else are they going to learn right from wrong, right? But we want to teach our children to go the right way according to the word, according to the scriptures. We got to teach our children, like, you know, when you do right, see, you want to please God. That's who you want to please. You don't please me. Don't just please me as your parent. You got to want to please God. So you got to do the right thing so that you can please God. You do the wrong thing, then he's not going to be pleased with the things that you're doing. You got to train them up. Yep. I'm just saying, I've been learning a lot. You know what I'm saying? And then you know what's crazy? We learned a lot about y'all know how, and this is just one, this is in the Bible. This is in the Bible. When you train them up in the way that they should go, and when it comes down to discipline, it's in the Bible. When they don't listen, they don't listen. What it say in the Bible? You put that rod on them. Just saying. And it says they won't die. So while they sitting up here trying to deem corporal punishment as a crime, they deeming corporal punishment as a crime. They're deeming corporal punishment as child abuse. Yes, it can be deemed as child abuse if the parent goes way too far, though. You know what I'm saying? If you use anger within the means of discipline, if you use anger within the means of discipline, then yes, you are going a little too far. You are crossing the line, because at that point, you provoking your child to anger. That's in the Bible as well. Yep. So when you put that thing on them, just being honest, you do it with love. You want to love your child while you disciplining them. So they sitting here, they trying to make it seem like corporal punishment is a problem. It's only a problem when you using anger and you provoking your children to anger. Just saying. You see people, like for instance, it is parents online. They use corporal punishment through chopping off their children's hair and embarrassing them, and then you provoking your child to anger, because now your children is going to grow to dislike you, to despise you as their parent, and then they're going to hate God, and then they're going to hate church, and then they're not going to want to do right at all, because you didn't provoke them to that. You didn't got them to that point. Shame on you. Yeah, that's what it say in the Bible. If you beat them with a rod, they won't die. That's what it says in the Bible. That's what it says in the Bible. Beat them with a rod, they won't die. It is literally I don't lost the word, y'all. Discipline. But you have to use love when you doing it. You gotta talk to them. You gotta make them feel sorry. Because when your child understands what they did that was wrong, they gonna come to you as their parent. They gonna say, "Mom, Dad, I'm sorry," or "Grandma, Grandpa, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that." You know what I'm saying? When they come to you and they're very apologetic, then hey, you doing the right thing. And then when you incorporate God into discipline, you know what I'm saying? Because God is love for sure. When you incorporate God into the discipline for sure, and you teaching them as you disciplining them, you're teaching them uh to grow up. I mean, I'm sorry, you training them up the correct way. You training them up in the way that they should go. Because when you train them up in a way that they should go, they won't depart from it. When they get old, they won't depart from it. And then they can teach their children and their children's children and their children. You know what I'm saying? Then it goes on and on and on and on. So then at that point, you're doing an amazing job, because you raising up a generation of godly children. You raising up a generation of children that were trained the correct way. Shout out to all of the people out there who had mothers and fathers, and whoever raised you according to the scriptures. Like, shout out. Seriously. Exactly. Gotta please God, not us as your parents. There you go, LJ. I'm telling you, boy, to be 22 and know all of this is, man, that's a blessing. He said, and it also said it will save them. Yes, it will save their souls from reaching hell when you discipline them. You know what I'm saying? You discipline your children. They will be grateful. They will be grateful, especially when you do it out of love. You said the world just wants to allow the devil to raise these kids so that the world can be more evil. Exactly. That's why the youth messed up and what they say YN. You know what I'm saying? That's why these YNs, they be walking around here with these doggone ski masks on. And they think they scaring somebody when they try to act like they got that thing on them. You know, and they leave at home at such young ages, man. I'm constantly seeing 12 and 13-year-olds leaving home. I'm seeing younger than that, honestly. They're leaving home. They they don't have any respect for their parents. I'm seeing little girls 8 years old, 7 years old. They don't have any respect for their parents whatsoever. Because their parents are not training them up. They not training them up. So unfortunately, man, I gotta get off of here. Y'all got me talking. I gotta get off of here, y'all. Unfortunately, though, um, these children are headed straight to hell. Unfortunately. And like I said, I don't want to hear nobody telling me that I'm wrong for saying this, because I know that I'm not. I'm not wrong for saying that a child can go to hell, especially if they know right from wrong. If they know that they're not supposed to do wrong, and they know that they're actually supposed to do right. Think about all of the kids that passed on from wildfires or floods, or all of these disasters that has happened, died in tornadoes, and think about the things that they were doing before they passed on. I hate to say it, but a lot of them definitely probably in hell. And then the parents really believe that their children are up in heaven. But how? You weren't even training your child up according to the scripture. So how do you believe that you have a child of God? How do you believe that you have a godly child? Your child, you were raising up a demon and you didn't even care. And now your child is gone and they in the lake of fire. Especially when they had these balloon releases, you know what I'm saying? And y'all gotta let the dead rest. Let the dead rest. Y'all be sitting up here having candlelight vigils and balloon releases and all type of stuff, man. Yelling out their name through the clouds as if they gonna just break through the clouds and come back to, because the truth is y'all really want them to be alive still. The truth is, if they had some medication that they was able to give your child right before they took their last breath to keep them alive, I guarantee you a lot of y'all would probably do it. Oh, you said that's going to keep my child alive for 6 more months. Oh, please, doctor, how much is the medication? It's about $1,500 for one pill. Do you think you'll have the $1,500, ma'am? I can go and get a loan right now. I'll go and get a loan. Y'all want to keep y'all children alive when it's their time to go. Because God said it's their time to go. And unfortunately, a lot of y'all had these balloon releases and candlelight vigils and stuff like that, and then when this the crazy part, I done seen one situation, right, where somebody was holding the candlelight vigil for this teenager. I think she was like, I want to say like 14 years old or something like that. And there was a situation, a bad situation that happened that resulted in her death. But the memories that they were showing, she was doing TikTok dances. She was dressed all inappropriate. You know what I'm saying? She doing her little makeup, all of that. And then when you look at the parent, the mother who was raising her, she wasn't no better. But the girl, she died. You know what I'm saying? And they had a candlelight vigil, right? And so during the candlelight vigil, the candles had fell, all of the candles had fell over, and then the poster that they had of her on the gate had flew off of the gate and everything. And they said, oh, that's her, y'all, that's her, she trying to talk to us from hell, she trying to talk to y'all from hell. Let the dead rest. It's over with. She's gone. And that's no disrespect. There's no disrespect. I'm not disrespecting the dead or anything, but it's just the truth. You didn't train her up in the way that she should go. Then y'all sit up here, and I'm not saying that you can't grieve, but y'all grieving over y'all children that passed on, the children that you raised the incorrect way, that you had the opportunity, you had the golden opportunity the whole time they was alive to raise them the correct way. Not only should you value your life, but you should help your child value theirs as well. Because a lot of these children, they don't even understand that they prideful because they feel like they got more time. They feel like they're going to make it to see the age, 70, 80. They feel like they going to make it. But see, a lot of these children are dying off very fast nowadays, and going straight to the lake of fire. A lot of these kids are losing their lives, to gun violence, school shootouts, disasters, car accidents, you name it. And they not here with us anymore. And unfortunately, a lot of them didn't make it to heaven. Yeah. Man, that's sad. You said your sister-in-law died at 16 and she was so lost. That's sad. That's sad. I had a cousin, I want to say this happened like 2 years ago. Man, these years going by flying so fast. But I had a cousin. His father passed away because he was very sick. And he was extremely close with his father. He loved his father. Man, his father was his everything. He learned and picked up a lot from his father. So, he couldn't believe he was so heartbroken. He was so heartbroken. My cousin was so heartbroken that his father was gone. He felt like he didn't have nobody. And unfortunately, you know what he did? He couldn't take his father's death. So he went in the room to hang himself and he died. And what do you think he made it to? Because he didn't value his life. Okay? He didn't even give himself a chance to grieve. He didn't even go to God with his problems. He hung himself. He didn't want to live anymore. Of course, he went to the lake of fire. Because his father was gone. So he like, nah, ain't no point in me being here no more. My daddy gone. I might as well just kill myself too. Like, and see, that is one of the biggest tests. Because, I can only imagine how many people could probably come in here and say that they lost a parent, you know what I'm saying? Or maybe both parents. Or somebody that was very close to them in their family. That is a very big test on your life. When you lose a parent that was very dear to you, you literally, I promise you, I can only imagine. You definitely, yes, it's a grieving process, and some people don't take it too well. Some people don't take it too well. They If they don't take their own life, they gonna end up on drugs, being an alcoholic, or whatever the case may be. I seen this one guy, right? There was a video of this homeless guy, and they posted a picture of him before he became homeless and strung out on drugs. He was strung out on crack. But I want to say 5 months prior to him being strung out, he was very healthy. He looked like a normal person. But, and he was in his 30s. But now, he looked like he's about 80 plus because of the drugs. But you know what brought him to that point in his life? His wife. His wife had passed on. She passed away from cancer. And he said that his wife was his everything. They spent every day of their lives together. They was like this. What they call it, two peas in a pot. And he couldn't take it, the fact that he lost his wife. And so he said, man, when I lost my wife, I just went straight to the streets. And I decided to be homeless. He said because not only did he lose his wife, but after that, he couldn't work no more because he didn't have the mental capacity to work. He lost his house. He ended up, losing his car. He lost everything. Then he said his family wasn't there for him. Nobody was there for him. Everybody, the only person that was there for him was his wife. And being that he ain't have her no more, he felt like, man, what is life? He said, I might as well go out here and get off crack. So he said that's when he became homeless and he got strung out on drugs. And so now, he's crying out for help pretty much. So he said that he still grieves over his wife every now and then, but he desperately wants to come off of drugs, and he desperately just want to restart himself all over again. But I'm telling you, man, when you don't value your life, man, you're going to end up in hell. Children, same for the children. Yeah, no time to sit with the devil. God got our minds and hearts all times. Yep. I don't know if I read that right, but you said my younger homie died and he ain't turned his life around completely. Unfortunately, life, man, teaches. Yeah, I mean, you know, when he took his last gas, his last breath, he had that pistol in his hand because he was just got done shooting at the ops. You know what I'm saying? So it's unfortunate that he lost his life at a young age. Him and his the mother of his children that was in the car together. Um, thank God they child still was able to live. And the child wasn't hit by the gunfire. But him and him and the baby mother both died in the front seat with the gun on his lap. When you lost in a sauce and what you say, don't know what it costs, you know, you definitely will end up in a lake of fire for sure. You definitely will go to hell. And a lot of these people, see, y'all sitting up here, a lot of y'all people up here talking about, yes, please let the war come to America. I'm ready. I'm ready. Y'all not ready, man. I'm going to be honest with you. You ain't ready because you ain't even get your life right with God. You ain't get your life right with God. You ain't ready. Y'all don't even, y'all still to this day, y'all still got a lot of pride that you need to get rid of. but you don't feel like you got pride. That's the problem. You got pride, but you don't feel like you have pride when someone tells you that you do have pride, in a way. Y'all want to continue on down the wrong path and continue to do wrong and continue to indulge in all of the wrong things, even though you know that it's wrong, you feel like it's right. So since you feel like it's right, like I said, value your life now, because at any given second you could be taking your last breath, and guess what? You definitely already know where you're going, and it's not to heaven. You know what I'm saying? And then you got people, they come in the chat because they can't take it no more. They don't want to hear what I'm talking about. So I'm gonna say it again, and I'm gonna continue to say it. And I know it's going to ruffle your feathers, you and everybody else's who feel some type of way about this message. But I'm just gonna continue to say the right thing. See, when you don't value your life, I'm not gonna stop yapping. I'm gonna keep talking, you know. I'm just saying, act like it's a gun to your head. People are just hilarious, man. They get so irritated, and I trust me, I could feel these things. I could feel it through the internet. Like I can feel it on the other side of this live stream. I could feel that I'm irritating their demons. I know I am, and I'm just gonna continue to irritate your demon. I want to help y'all. But you see what I'm saying? They don't even want you to help them. They don't want you to guide them in the right direction. Like I said, they want to continue to dwell in sin. They have pride. They don't want you to tell them that they got pride, because they don't even feel like they have pride. Ain't that crazy? That is crazy. You know you doing wrong. You know you wrong. But if I tell you that you're wrong for the things that you're doing, you're going to tell me, who are you to judge? Only God can. Yes, he can. And he's judging you every second, every minute. You think he just going to wait to judge you? He judging you right now. He's judging you right now. But I'm wrong for telling people that they're wrong, though. For telling people that they're wrong. For trying to guide people in the right direction and trying to help them out of that mindset. It's like, could you stop yapping for a minute? Could you do me a favor? You can actually rewind the live stream, go all the way back to the beginning, and listen to me talk. Listen, keep listening, because evidently you came in here for a reason. If you could tell me to stop yapping, then that means that you was listening to me the whole entire time. You had to be listening to something. You was picking up from something. Something you was picking up from, because if it irritated your spirit and it irritated your demons in any type of way, then there was something right there that struck you, because you know that you're wrong. I'm just being honest. I'm just being honest. I appreciate Jace and LJ for engaging in the chat and listening. I appreciate it. Um, you said, I told you that you would die in your sins. If you do not believe that I am he, you will indeed die. Yeah, could you put, what is that scripture again? Because I think I wrote it right here. Oh yeah, I think it's John chapter 8 verse 24. Please, if I'm wrong, God, please forgive me. But could you put the correct scripture in there? Because I see that you wrote it out, but I'm trying to see, is it John chapter 8 verse 24? But yes, the Bible tells us that we will die in our sins. Seriously. You want to keep sinning, you will die in the same exact sins that you indulging in right now. This is exactly why I had to stop doing the bad things that I was doing. I don't want to die in those sins. I don't want that coming with me. No, I want to be right. Oh, I appreciate y'all for literally staying put, because a lot of people they do get irritated, when they listening to me and stuff like that. And like I said, if you can get irritated by the things that I'm saying, then that means that there is something that I said that pierced you to the point where it irritated you. And it's like, because when people pull out certain things in your message that irritates them, that piece, that specific piece, like for instance, the person that came in here early on in the live stream told me that I'm using the word weird incorrectly. Out of everything that I said for the 24 minutes that I had been talking, the only thing they pulled out of that was that I'm using the word weird. I hate when y'all people use the word weird. Okay, so evidently that specific word weird, it only got to you because you know that you being weird. Even coming in here saying that I'm using the word weird incorrectly. Like, come on now. You said my sheep will hear my voice. That word of the scripture comes out. We gonna hear it, even if it cut us one. Yes, they're full of demons if they can't at least listen without full of demons. They full of demons. That is 100% correct. But see, that's the thing. A lot of people are filled with demons, and that's my whole purpose of really doing this live stream. I'm not trying to irritate your demons. I'm trying to pull the demons out of you. Pull them up out of you. I'm trying to get those demons up out of you. I don't understand how, a lot of y'all are filled with demons and you comfortable having a dark soul and you comfortable being spiritually dead and you just comfortable being where you are. You don't want to come out of that. Man, you ain't tired of the demons torturing you every day of your life. You don't feel bad and you don't feel bad. You don't want to feel bad. That's how you know when people are comfortable where they are, when they don't even want to feel bad for anything that they doing. You know, they don't want that conviction on them because they like I said, who is she to judge? Who she thinks she is? Well, I think that, you know, I'm nothing else other than God's child. So you could call me every name in the book that you want to call me. But don't forget to mention that I'm God's child too. You know? And we are God's children through faith. That's how we know when we're God's children. When you know that you one of God's chosen, see, it's because you gotta you have to, a lot of y'all don't even want to allow yourselves to go through anything. That's why people, they look at me and my husband and they say stuff like, I don't see how y'all can go through that. If that was me, I would never go through that. Of course you wouldn't. Because you won't even allow yourself to go through it so that you can get through it. So that when you get through it, you can learn from it and then you can teach everybody else. That's my whole purpose. I done been through so much and still going through it that I just have a purpose to literally teach others as well. Yep. You said my older brother is comfortable in his dark ways. I got a lot of family like that. Unfortunately, I have parents that are comfortable living the way that they live, and they don't want to come out of it. And when I tried to speak to one of my parents about the way that they were living, they felt like, you my child. No, 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 I'm God's child. No, 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 I'm your child, but I'm God's child though. You know what I'm saying? You my child. How you gonna tell me? Age ain't nothing but a number. Age ain't nothing but a number. See, the thing is, right? When your soul becomes, when you start wanting a rich soul, when you start wanting that wisdom and stuff like that, and you thirsty and you hungry for wisdom and for knowledge and stuff, age don't matter. If LJ was to be sitting in front of this camera right now, if LJ was sitting in front of the camera and LJ was going live with straight up wisdom, and I'm listening to him, I don't care about how old he is or she. I'm not sure if you a male or female, but I don't care about how old they are. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna be looking at their age group to say, oh, you can't tell me nothing because you 22. You can't tell me nothing. I'm older than you. That's the problem, y'all. That is the problem. People feel like it's her age. They look at your age more so than anything. And then another thing that they do, guys, is they go to my old streams and my old videos and my old shorts. And I'm talking, when I say 5 days ago, that's old. 10 days ago, that's old. 2 days ago was old too, because guess what? We learning, we growing, and we learning in wisdom every single day. And that is the whole purpose. When God gives us the opportunity to wake up, he's given us the opportunity to change. Okay. So I'm not perfect, but I'm trying to make my way to perfection. That's the whole purpose. You know what I'm saying? Of being able to live. I'm trying to perfect myself for Christ, not for everybody else. Real talk. So if you see that I did a live stream from 2 days ago, and you looking like, dang, why she say that, and why she say that cussing word, not saying that I did, I'm just saying, and why she say that cussing word, and why she acting like that, guess what? He gave me an opportunity to wake up the next day to learn from what I did the day before, right? So I'm trying to be better than I was yesterday. I'm trying to be better than I was the day before yesterday. I'm trying to be better than I was 5 months ago. So you can go on my stream like that person did the other day, coming in my on my YouTube channel and sitting up here. I mean, when I say that I had notifications, this person went to all my shorts the other day, y'all, and literally told me that you talking about one thing and you saying another, and your guy is in the background and he's doing this and he's doing that. See, this is the problem with the world. When you are trying to change for the better, they want to keep you in the same, they want to keep you there. The person that you was yesterday and the day before yesterday, they feel like that's still you. They don't feel like change even happens because they don't want to change. They don't even believe in change. They don't even believe that God gives us an opportunity to wake up every single day so that we can change, so that we can learn, and so that we can grow in wisdom and knowledge every single day. They don't feel like that's even possible. So that's why they try to go, they judge me and they judge my husband and they judge one another and they judge and they judge and they judge. Even when you do change for the better, they still judge you. I got a whole system of people that's sitting up here watching me, a whole system that stalks my YouTube channel, that watches me, and they keep on trying to bring up my past. You know what I'm saying? Even though I repented, already for all of my wrongdoings, you know, and God gave me an opportunity. He gave me an opportunity to change, and guess what? I took that opportunity because I craved wisdom and knowledge every single day. When I learned from my past mistakes, when I learned from all of the wrongdoing and the things that I did, I wanted to continue to learn. So every time I do wrong, if I was to sit here and say a few cussing words, y'all, right now, I'm going to apologize immediately. And then after the stream, I'm going to go and repent, because that's just what I do especially when I know that it's wrong. When I know that it's wrong, I repent for my wrongs. I don't just be like, oh, whatever, man. At the end of the day, everybody cuss. No, what everybody does, I don't want to do. That ain't my business. I know what I want to do. I want to grow into perfection. Real talk. Yeah, wisdom don't have an age bracket. You can learn from it. You could literally learn from a 17-year-old. They could come on here with nothing but wisdom and knowledge. A 17-year-old will teach you something. You don't judge them according to their age and say, you 17, be quiet. Who are you to say anything? If I'm in my 30s, you can't talk to me at the age of 17. Just saying, man. Like, age ain't nothing but a number. And this flesh is temporary. So guess what? My name don't mean nothing either. My birthday don't mean nothing either. Don't none of that stuff matter. And I know a lot of people probably looking crazy in the face right now. She sound crazy. How her name don't matter and her birthday don't matter. So the day that you was born don't matter? No. Because guess what? Every day is my birthday. Every day is my birthday. You think I'm just gonna, be happy and ready to celebrate one day out the year, when you could be wake up in happiness and knowing that you are growing every single day? Every single day is your birthday. uh oh yeah, I did learn a little bit about Paul. I did. Y'all know what's crazy, man? Sometimes when my daughter is watching the biblical cartoons or whatever, I pick up a little bit from the biblical cartoons. Okay. And they water it down a little bit for the children, for the little children and stuff like that. So what I do is I take that little bit that I have learned from those little biblical cartoons, and I go and I open up my Bible, and then that's when it tells me the real. It gets down to the nitty gritty. It really teach you everything you need to know. So yeah, they do water it down for the ears of the children, so that the children can understand in a child's way. But when I heard about Paul, I'm like, hold on, let me go, look this up in the scriptures so I can learn about Paul. Yeah, I did learn about Paul that way. You say you really get judged when you try to be better. That's facts. The past is the past. It's about what you're talking about now. Paul was a murder, ended up being, yes, Paul was. You know what I'm saying? Come on, man. I'm telling y'all, I didn't did a lot of wrong. You know what I'm saying? I done did a lot of wrong in my past life. But my past life, if it wasn't for me learning from what I went through, I wouldn't be who I am today. I wouldn't even be able to sit here and talk to y'all right now. I would be out here uh living life just like everybody else that's out here in the world, still indulging in sin, still loving my sin, and just loving my sin, waking up every day grateful to be a part of the ways of the world, and you know indulge in sin, go to sleep. Y'all wake up and go to sleep in sin. And then it's the fact that people really don't feel like it's wrong at all. They don't. They heard that it's wrong. That's the thing. They heard that it's wrong. God bless your heart, Carl. Hopefully, when you vomited, I helped you get that demon out, that's been sitting inside of you to the point where you had to vomit the demon up out of you. So it sounds like, I'm helping the demons come up out of you. So I'm grateful, and God bless your heart. Yeah. Um, and I'm just gonna ask, that God give you some grace, Carl. And I'm just gonna ask that you value your life and don't take it for a joke and don't take it for a game, sir or ma'am. Cause a lot of y'all, I'm sorry, I don't know if y'all are men or women. Just according to your name, you know, evidently some people just be under different profiles and they be a whole nother different gender. So yeah, but um I'm grateful that I can make people vomit, cause they vomiting the demons out. That's what it is. Some people throw up in their own mouth because the demon is coming out. That's what it is. So I'm grateful for that, and also I'm grateful that I can irritate people's demons to where they can say, "Could you please stop yapping for a second?" Because that means that I'm saying something right. So I appreciate that as well. Thank you for stopping by and actually listening to me, and staying long enough to hear me. Because some of y'all, even though you got blocked, I'm pretty sure you probably still listening right now. God bless your heart. God be with you. Y'all don't even realize how, man, I just wish that America can really see how God keep giving us grace. Still. And then y'all keep trying to turn it into a joke and turn it into a game. You ain't even paying attention to, you're not paying attention to the fact that God is giving us grace still. These other countries, they're at war right now. They're at war right now. They're going to war with each other right now. And yes, our instigating selves, we are in the midst of it all. Yes, we are. That's why I say at any given second, something can happen. But people don't want to hear that. They just feel like this is America. Like I said, this is America. Nothing can happen to us Americans. You're just saying things. You just saying anything. Oh, this is fear monger. This is a fear monger channel. And they're not receiving what I'm saying. It's not giving. What the females say, it's giving. Apparently, it's not tea. Um, I'm not clocking it. I'm not clocking it. I just can't believe women really talk like that. I just, I can't believe highly educated women talk like that as well. So what did you waste your time going to college for? And what did you get all of that education for? Like, how did you fill yourself up with education and you still managed to talk like that? I'm telling y'all, I can't believe I had to switch doctors because the doctor that I had was talking like cause honey, I came in this live stream when I first started with a righteous frustration. Somebody said, you seem pissed. You seem like you mad. That's the first thing people look for. They just try to look for if you mad, and they try to figure out how they can trigger you through your live streams, through just saying things in the chat. You saying mad. You know what I'm saying? Just because I'm talking about my disappointment within society. You know, we live in a society where um people are spiritually dead and mentally ill, and this is the mentally ill pandemic that we living in. And you know, in those other countries right now, they're having a energy lockdown. Yeah, and I had, first of all, I kept seeing it in my algorithm. And I don't just go according to what I see in videos and stuff like that. So what I do is I go do my own research. And yes, these other countries unfortunately are under an energy lockdown. You know, they making it to where this is so sick that they making it to where these people can't go to work every single day. Um But guess what? That gives you an opportunity to get closer to the Most High. But some of them, they don't look at that because they looking at the way that them paychecks gonna be looking. You know what I'm saying? They can't drive their cars on the road every day. But guess what? That's giving you another opportunity to gain a closer relationship with the Most High God. But y'all still not valuing that either. Instead, y'all want to complain because you feel like, no, I gotta go to the store. I got things that I need to do and they trying to lock me down. Well, that's the negative part about it. Yeah, you know, they are under a lockdown order, you know. Did I say that right? Y'all know what I mean. They under a lockdown. You know, they got them under, they telling them what they can and they can't do. But see, that's the thing that people be ignoring. Yes, these, it's corruption. It is. But at the same time, it's giving you a golden opportunity to gain a closer relationship with the Most High. And y'all just don't want to take that into consideration. Seriously. I had to learn that during the COVID thing, you know? Because, yeah, I was like, man, what the heck, man? I'm in this house. Can't even do nothing. But guess what? Guess who showed up in my algorithm for me? Thank you, Jesus. Stephen Darby. Stephen Darby taught me so much during the lockdown. I didn't even know who this man was. All I know is he kept showing up in my algorithm. And I decided to just give it a go. I said, let me just watch him. Let me listen to what this man, he might give me some little wisdom that I need. Let me listen to him. And when I listened to him, after that, I got hooked and I started to binge watch all of his videos. And I was watching them every single day. And I started to send them to my husband. And my husband started picking up on it. Then we started to learn together. And that changed us. That changed us. That made us a whole lot more better during the lockdown. So actually we gained a lot of wisdom during the lockdown. You know, and this is what people could be doing, but instead they looking at, no, we must get out here and we must march. We must protest. We must do something about the corruption. Not even realizing you got an opportunity to have a relationship with God and y'all don't even want that. So it's crazy, man. It's crazy. It is crazy. Yeah, that person is just obviously, you know, like I said, you know, when you're able to irritate people's demons or their dark spirits inside of them, then that lets you know that you saying something right. They breathe negativity. They wake up and they go to sleep and full of negativity. You said I was praying a few weeks ago and I felt a calm over my body that I never felt before. Yes, yes. God was truly, yes, God, He can hear us, man. Once you go and you pray, especially when you have that time alone by yourself, and you just talking to God, I'm telling you, man. Because every time after I pray, man, and during my prayer, I feel that too. I can feel it. I can feel that He got His hands all over me. You know, He got His hands on me and He got me. He just letting me know, like, I'm right here. I got you. You know, don't forget that I'm continuing to guide you and lead you through this life. Y'all be so, see, a lot of people on this earth, they be so afraid. They so afraid of the end times, right? Of the end. And you want to know why they afraid? It's because they really know where they going. That's why. They are very aware that they are going to the lake of fire. They aware. That's why they afraid. But when you not afraid and you know that God is with you, it's because God is going to protect you through it all. God got us, especially us, you know, godly people. He got his hands on it. He going to protect us through it all. These other people, man, I'm telling you, you going to die with your sins. And the first death is you not even being able to hear God anymore. The first death is you being so spiritually dead that you believe that everything that you do that's wrong is actually right. Man, that's messed up. To be so deep into that. Because guess I'm telling y'all, man, I'm telling you, I got family like that right now. They so deep into that. They dead already. You know what I'm saying? Even though they alive, they dead. So yeah, they alive, they here, but they're dead though. Like it's the people that's been coming in the streams and stuff like that, saying negative things, even while I'm trying to help people and stuff like that. They're dead. Even though they alive, they dead. They spiritually dead. They have that's their first death. It's the spiritual death. They can't hear. They don't want to hear you. They don't want to hear you talk about it. They want you to be quiet. They don't even what? They don't hear God. They don't want to talk to God. They don't want to pray. Man, I don't want to experience that. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't want to experience that. That's bad. Because then when you continue to indulge deeper and deeper and deeper into sin, and you don't even have the ability anymore to open up your heart because you so spiritually dead, and you got such a dark soul that you can't even open up your heart. You so heartless, you so cold. Your heart got the lock and the key on it. It got the lock and the key, the heart, you know what I'm saying? It got the lock on it. It got chains all on it. You can't even open your heart up anymore because you in that first death, that spiritual death. So you gonna die with your sins. When you really die, when it's your time to go, it's over with. You had an opportunity to change and you ignored it all. It wasn't clicking at all because you didn't want that. Yeah, how wrong. Yep. We living in a time where, right is wrong and wrong is right. I got neighbors right now that, that's doing wrong and they continue to do wrong and they continue to be filled with pride and they feel like it's right because They don't see anything wrong with what they're doing. They feel like they good people. They feel like they not doing nothing wrong. You said, how did a country founded on God's principles stray so far from God? Babylon. This is Babylon, man. Seriously. This is Sodom and Gomorrah all over again. And this country is going right into this country is going right into the dirt as we speak. You know what I'm saying? Because look at everybody online. And when you go outside your door, wherever you are, wherever y'all at right now, go outside your door and just walk around and just look at the people. Even when you driving, or if you're on public transportation, or if you taking the Uber ride or whatever, look out the windows at the people on the expressway that's driving, or that's driving on the street. You can see a spiritual death. You can see it. You can see how they enjoy their sin. You can see it. It's there. It's there. You can see it. They not hiding it anymore. These people is too far gone. They gone. And ain't no saving this country. It's over with. There is no saving. I said it. There is no saving this country. This is Sodom and Gomorrah all over again. So when this country die off, when this country dies off, it ain't coming back. That's why they keep saying a new world order. We already under the new world, or the beast system is evolving stronger and stronger and stronger. It's over with. There ain't no saving this country, man. God has already given us chances, and I'm telling y'all, I'm telling you, and I'm telling you now. If you don't change right now, today, and if you don't stop playing games, you gonna die. You gonna die along with your sins. I understand that a lot of y'all out there are spiritually dead. You people that are listening to me now are probably spiritually dead, more than likely. But I'm gonna just warn you right now that you have an opportunity. You got an opportunity right now as I'm speaking to change. He giving you a chance. He's gonna give you another chance when you wake up. I'm telling y'all, man, do y'all not know how many people don't get a chance to wake up, open up their eyes, and they were under the, sometimes I be lost for words when I be talking, honestly. Yep. Look at the back of the dollar bill. I actually did a live stream on that like last year, I think. Um, the back of the dollar bill, the eye of providence. You know what I'm saying? That's their God. That's their God. That's why so many people be so deep into the money. They love money, and they think that the money love them back. But how is a piece of paper gonna love you back? How did you manage to fall in love with something that can't even love you? How are you managing to chase the bag and the bag ain't even chasing you? How? How? How can you love something that's in your digital wallet every 2 weeks or every week? And you look at your phone and you like, oh, just got paid Friday night. And like, man, I'm telling you, man, y'all people is just, y'all too far gone. But just to help you out right now, All jokes aside, no joking, because I know a lot of people, even when you talking the truth, they still try to figure out how they can form a joke within your truth. Okay, girl, just got paid. No, I'm serious. They really would do stuff like seriously, when I would talk the truth to one of my family members, me and my husband talk the truth to one of them, they would figure out how to crack a joke within the truth and to just turn the whole thing into nothing but comedy. As if we playing. We not playing, we literally trying to help y'all, man. Yeah, it might sound like it's a little funny to you, but I'm serious. Like, how can you fall in love with something that can't love you back? You have an opportunity to change. He's giving us a chance right now as I speak. Please, whatever you do, once I end this stream, whatever you do, repent for every wrong that you've done. Every wrong that you continue to do, everything that you feel like you just can't stop doing, just ask God to help you. I'm telling you, I've been there. I felt like it was times where I felt like it was times where I would never give up my sins. But I got tired of it though. I knew it was wrong. And I'm just like begging and pleading and repenting and asking God to help me. And he brought me up out of that. He pulled me up out of that. Especially when I ain't have a choice but to be isolated away from everybody, because everybody started showing me their true colors. And I picked up on it. And I didn't want to chase after anybody anymore. I didn't want to chase family and friends anymore. It is what it is. If you don't want to be in my corner, then you showing me who you truly are. Obviously, it boiled all the way down to, hey, I just got myself at this point and God is in my corner. So I started talking to God every single day when I was by myself. And he started to work on me and work within me. And a change came. And don't believe them when they say, it don't happen overnight. Yes, it do. It can happen right now as I'm speaking. Please, don't listen to these people when they tell you stuff can't happen overnight, that you can't change overnight. Don't believe people when they tell you this, you can't change. You can change. And you could change right now in a hot second. I could end this stream and you would be looking like, dang, who am I? I feel like I learned something today. You know what? I think I'm going to listen to Stephen Darby. Didn't she say she was... I think I'm going to listen to Stephen Darby. I think I'm going to open up my Bible and I'm going to read some scriptures. I'm going to pray more. And then it's all just clicking all at once, because it happened to me. If God can do it for me, I know for a fact he can do it for you. It can happen overnight, in the morning. Just don't give up. Exactly. But see, that's the you said the love of money is the root of all evil. And Jace, I had learned this. Don't forget this. The biggest part. Hold on, let me write it down. You said the love of money is the root of all evil. But look, this the biggest part right here that everybody keep forgetting. Let me write it down. Four. See, I had to learn it that way too, because I was like, I had listened to this one guy that I was following. That I actually still follow. Shout out to brother JT. He pulled that scripture up and he said there's one thing. He said everybody always be saying the love of money is the root of all evil. He said, but they keep forgetting that one piece that goes in front of that. For the love of, and then when I kept saying it, I said, oh, okay, I get what he's saying. Right, because see, people believe that It's the love. You know what I'm saying? Just, man, people just, for the love that you have, the love that you have for that money, for the love that you have for that money, that's the root of all the evil. That's the root of all the evil. Exactly. That's what I was trying to say. Having money ain't the problem. So having that money in your wallet, in your pocket, on that debit card or credit card, that ain't the issue. Because see, that's where people get it messed up at. They start to blame objects and they start to blame things. You know what I'm saying? But they're not blaming themselves, because the thing is, you are the problem. You know, it's for the love that you have for that money that's in your wallet, that's in your pocket, that's on your in your cash app or whatever the case is. It for the love that you have developed for that money is the root of all the evil. You know what I'm saying? Oh no, it's all love, Jace. It's all love. I had to learn that myself, and I was like, wait a minute, he right. We all be missing that big piece. That word "for" is the biggest piece. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, y'all gonna try to keep me on here for 4 hours, and I gotta go. I said that so many times, man. You said love and money makes people sell their soul, lose their morals for an image to be worshipped in facts. Yep. Yep. Um, so yeah, man, I appreciate y'all for coming in here and engaging with me, and definitely understanding where I'm coming from. Uh and just, the thirst that we all have to want to gain knowledge and wisdom, because remember, y'all, we are growing in knowledge and in wisdom every single day. Don't never let anybody tell you that you cannot change. Don't never let anybody shame you for changing your ways. And when I say changing your ways, I mean changing for the better. Don't never let nobody make you feel bad at all, because God is working within you. Okay? God got his hands on you. God is doing that. All right? I appreciate y'all. Um and don't forget, y'all, if you ain't hit the subscribe, but if you're not subscribed already, make sure you subscribe. God bless y'all. God be with y'all. I got things that I have to get done. And y'all, if you want to rewind the live stream, go right ahead. I encourage you to. I am not ashamed at how I first started off. Yes, I did start off a little upset. I did. And I did say that. I did let people know that, yes, I am upset with the way that society is right now, how society has became, and how they think that it's okay to be the way that they are. You know? So I just want to shout out to my husband, who held it down for me as the mod, kicking those people up out of here. But God bless their souls, man. And to anybody that's been watching me, that did not want to engage, that was afraid to engage or whatever, God bless your heart. And you people that's watching me, that's working in the system, that's trying to figure out how y'all could try to use another one of my sentences and my words with me, against me, God bless your heart as well. And please, whatever you do, make sure you tell my children that I love them and God is with them.